can you hear me? All right, thank you so much. Welcome to tonight's session, wherever you're joining from. My name is Jedediah Usara, and I'm a data associate here at Analytics. I'm really excited to have each and every one of you joining us for this session. If this is your first time of being on one of our sessions, maybe a tech series or a master class, can you just drop a one in the chat so we know those who are joining us for the first time? If you are joining for the very first time, just drop a one in the chat. All right. This is interesting. So we have quite a number of new people. That's fantastic. If you're not new, you can just drop a zero. All right, awesome. It's great to have each and every one of us here. So I would like you all to also introduce yourself. So just type out your name and where you are joining the session from. So now you've met me, and I would like to meet you as well. Just type out your name and where you're joining the session from. Guys, let's keep them coming. Abayomi from Lokoja. We have Efemina from Canada. We have Nelson from Lagos, Nigeria. Nice to meet you, Nelson. That's awesome. We have Adiza from Alberta. We have Bill Collins from Lagos and Jali from Canada. We have Kazim from Ogun State. That's awesome. Fantastic, guys. It's great to have each and every one of us here. So we see that we have a quite dynamic or diverse spread of people across Nigeria and across the globe as well. It's great to have each and every one of us join this session. So for this session, we are going to be having Efemina and Adeza. So Adeza is the founder of Tenalytics and Efemina the co-founder of Tenalytics. And we here at Tenalytics are focused on reducing the entry barrier, taking out the entry barrier into tech for most Africans and people of the Black community. That was the dream that Adeza and Efemina had coming into building Tenalytics. And that's the reason why most of us are here, because we want to transition from different industries into tech. And Adeza and Efemina are going to be joining us this evening. They are going to be sharing their wealth of knowledge with us and experience as well. So we are getting first-hand knowledge and experience from them. These are people who didn't start out in tech, but then they transition into tech, and they are able to share their journey and experience with us. So please stay tuned and ensure that you take notes, please. There's going to be a lot to learn from this session. So please make sure that you take down notes and that you pay close attention to everything that's going to be discussed in this session. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. And at this point, I will hand over to Efemina and Adeza.
Thank you very much for that, Jedediah, for that wonderful introduction. And I can see we have a diverse set of audience from across the globe. And that's exactly the essence of being in sessions like this. So today we'll have an amazing time. And we are diving into how to get jobs within the tech ecosystem, especially when you have no experience, okay? And the reason why this is important is because you have a whole lot of misconceptions out there, all right? You just moved from your home country, maybe in India or from Nigeria. You just moved to Canada, or you've gone to the UK for your master's. And there are these misconceptions that you get to hear from people that makes it so impossible to transition into tech, all right? So we are coming here today to talk about those misconceptions, dispel those misconceptions, and also show you how to do it, all right? Just like I did it myself, Efemina did it, and we've helped over 2,000 people within the space of 4 years to also transition from the classroom to getting their very first jobs in the tech ecosystem, all right? So let's dive into the main meats of our session today, and we'll get started. So I'll share my slides and then we'll kick off with our session from there. Okay. Again, I want the session to be as interactive as possible. So as your question occurs to you, take notes of your questions. At the end of the session today, we'll have a Q&A where we'll take all the questions and help you answer as many burning questions as you have, and as well as time permits us. All right. So we have people joining us from the UK, from Canada, from Nigeria, from Ghana, from the US, and so on and so forth. And that's the essence of our session. So who is Tenalytics? Just like Jedediah explained, Tenalytics is an educational technology company focusing on helping people to transition into the tech ecosystem by doing what? By lowering the entry barrier into tech. Okay, so I'm just going to mute. All right. So that we don't have any distractions. Okay, so you also don't need to put on your video, please, so that we don't distract other people that might be listening. All right. So we have different areas. Okay, so let me just. All right. We offer different premium training in different areas, from data analytics to data science, data engineering, cybersecurity. And we're going to walk through all of these amazing career paths and how we've helped people over the years to transition and get jobs in these specific areas. But first of all, a little bit of introduction about myself, Ifemena, that'll be handling the session today. All right. My name is Adeza Suleiman, the founder of Tenalytics. I'm a data analytics expert. I've worked as a data science consultant in the UK and in the US. I've also worked as a data analyst across the sub-Saharan Africa region with some of the largest multinational companies across the region. I've worked as a data analytics consultant, and I have close to a decade years of experience across 5 different sectors, from energy to educational technology to sports to financial services and so on and so forth. And I'll be bringing my wealth of experience today. But I started out as a management consultant. I didn't start out in tech, or I didn't start out as a data analyst, all right? I started out as a management consultant, but then I was able to switch into data analytics. Secondly, my first degree was in industrial chemistry, which has nothing to do with the tech ecosystem. Okay, so how was I able to transition? And these are the things we'll be showing to you and explaining to you today. Personally, I've trained well over 8,500 people, helping them to also navigate the space and get into the tech ecosystem. And currently, I'm in Canada, in Edmonton, Alberta, to help more people, more Africans, more people of the Black community to also get into tech within the region. All right. So that's just a bit about myself. And Ifemena will do a very quick introduction before we dive into the essence of our session today. Over to you, Ifemena.
All right. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending on your time zone. I'm usually very excited about the sessions that we have today, essentially because of where we started from and where we are at this point in time. Adeza gave a very brief introduction about how we started. So we both don't have any background in tech. Okay. So I studied economics in university. First role also was a management consultant. So that was what I did for my first, my first ever career role was as a management consultant. So if you are currently this burning, you have the desire to transition into the tech space, you are currently in the right place. All right. So my experience after, consulting, has been in the data ecosystem. So I worked as a data analyst, I worked as a BI analyst, BI developer, data engineer, data scientist. So my role has really my career has given me enough experience to span across different roles within the tech ecosystem. And I will be very happy to come back in to, tell you more about how you can actually transition into these roles as you go on. All right. So I'm excited to be here, and I'm sure you're also excited to be here today. Thanks a lot for taking our time, and I'll hand over back to you, Adeza.
All right, thank you very much for that. If you please confirm you can hear me clearly, because I think some people are complaining. All right, brilliant. All right, so how would our session, run today? So first of all, no experience, no problem. That's the very first thing I want you to know. So the fact that you have no experience in tech is no problem at all. All right, because there are strategies for you to land a job, irrespective of where you are. You are in Canada, you are in the UK, you are in the US, you are in Nigeria, you are in India, you are in Ghana, you are somewhere across Europe. There are strategies for you to land a job with no experience. And I'll be walking you through that very quickly. All right. After that, we move into the second aspect of our session today, which is understanding the in-demand career path. Okay, the career path that if you get into, you will get a job as fast as possible. You can learn them very fast. The demand is very high for those jobs, and you can easily get a job as well. So Ifemena would come back to walk us through that. And lastly, we'll talk about our upcoming program starting on the 2nd of March, 2024. All right. Now let's dive into the session today, how to secure tech jobs across the globe with no experience. Now, bear in mind that a lot of people feel that for them to get a job, they need to do certain things that are so difficult and, unbelievable. But we are telling you based on experience and based on the number of people, personal experience, and also the number of people we've been able to help to make the switch. Over 2,000 people since 2020 till date, we've been able to help to also get jobs across different regions in data analytics and data science. Why have we been so successful? What has helped us and also help people to make that switch? These are the strategies we'll be sharing with you today, because if you don't do these things, you are likely not going to get your desired outcome. All right. So some of you have been trying to get jobs. You've been applying to jobs, but getting rejections upon rejections upon rejections. So how do you start to get positive outcomes? How do recruiters start to reach out to you to get to interview you and eventually lands the job? The very first thing you must know is it is always competence over credentials. Competence over credentials. And I cannot overemphasize this. And this is where a lot of people always want to announce that they have this particular certification. And I've met with so many of them. We've had instances where people come to us, they have certifications as business analysts, certifications as Scrum Masters, but then you engage them to do some certain stuff in that particular area, and they struggle because anybody can pass an exam. Today, people even sit for exams for other people. The PMP certification, the CBAP certification, you have people sit and write the exams for other people, which means that anybody who has a paper certification means absolutely nothing. And these recruiters are aware. They know that it goes way beyond certification. If I employ you today, can you do the job? Do you have the skills to get the job done from day one when you resume on that particular role? So it is very important. The very first thing you have to, put in mind is what? Competence. You must demonstrate your competence instead of announcing credentials. And how do you do this? Like I said, it's always competence over credentials. Stop chasing certificates and chase the skills. Tech is a heavily skill-based area. You'd have to do things, you'd have to write codes, you'd have to create dashboards, you'd have to do things using different tools. So you need to know how to use those tools. You need to have the skills that would enable you help organizations solve problems using the skills that you have. So it is heavily skill-based. So rather than chasing certificates, you want to chase the skills, because when you get into interviews, nobody's going to ask you, oh, how many times did you write a certification? How difficult was it? And so on and so forth. Nobody cares about that. What the recruiters care about, what your potential employer care about is, can you do the job on day one? Do you have the skills that would enable you carry out your role and responsibilities on day one? So rather than chasing credentials, you want to what? Chase skills. So you want to learn, you want to understand a specific area in data science, data analytics, and so on and so forth. Now, how do you showcase, or how do you prove that you have the skills? And this is where you build a portfolio. Now, remember that you don't have experience, all right? You don't have experience in the sense that you've never worked in that capacity before. Let's take data and a data analyst, for example. So you've learned the skills in data analytics. You can use Excel, Power BI, SQL, Tableau, and do so many stuff, build dashboards, help organizations to understand their data and what the data is saying to help them take decisions. You've learned all those skills. How do you show to a potential recruiter that you have these skills? And this is where you must build a portfolio. So there must be proof that you have skills in this area. Your portfolio must also be public. Everybody should have access, or every potential recruiter, every potential employer should have access to your portfolio. So you want to have the link to your portfolio on your CV, all right? So when you put out your CV, which has been properly created and designed and developed, it gets into the pool for those that will be called in for interviews. And the hiring managers, the recruiters, can get to see the type of work you've done. They want to click on that link to your portfolio and see the type of work you've done. And that shows the depth of the skills that you have in certain areas. So that's the second thing you have to do, to show that you have experience. You've done different things in this particular area, and you've been able to solve problems, and you can solve those same problems when you get into the organization. Without this, your application is dead on arrival. And lastly, what you have to do is to also build a persona. Okay, and I'll explain what this is all about, learning in public. You have a portfolio, all right? One other thing you want to do is on your LinkedIn profile, I go to your profile, I want to hire you for a data science role. I've seen your CV, you have amazing projects you've worked on. However, I go to your LinkedIn and the only thing I see motivational quotes, I see different things you've posted that are not related to data science. That's a red flag, and it's a problem, because you want to get a job as a data scientist. You want to show social proof. You want to create a persona online that also showcases that you're a data scientist, even in your public profile. So your LinkedIn should also communicate that message of data science and you being a data scientist. So you want to post things. You built a new machine learning model. You want to record something of you, maybe showcasing how it works. You build a dashboard. You build something, a forecasting model on Excel, or a forecasting model using Tableau or Power BI. You want to showcase that and show and talk about what that particular model does. So anybody who goes to your profile will have no doubts that you are not just a data scientist on paper. You also have a public persona that shows that you are a data scientist as well. And this is where you showcase the skills that you have. Because remember, you don't have extensive experience. You have the skills you have learned. You want to also build a portfolio to showcase all the projects and amazing projects that you've worked on to show the depth of skills. And you must build a public persona that reflects that particular career path that you're trying to move into. These are the first set of strategies that you have to deploy. All right? Very, very important. So once you do these very first things, you get yourself right in front of the recruiters. They start to take notice of you, because recruiters would go on LinkedIn and they will search for certain keywords. All right? They're hiring for a particular role. They search for those certain keywords. Your name should pop up. Your profile should pop up so that they can call you up for interviews and so on and so forth. So once you do this, you want to focus on your what? Competence, the skills that you have, rather than credentials. I've been in tech for close to a decade, about a decade now. Same with FMNA. I have zero certification, zero certification. I've worked for some of the biggest companies across sub-Saharan Africa. I've worked in the automobile sector in the UK, worked for so many other organizations in the US, and I'm currently in Canada at the moment. Zero certification. Okay, so you want to focus on what competence, what can you do? When you get into an interview and you are given a case study, take this case study, take this data set, do a presentation, and show us what the insights you can generate from this case study. You should be able to build something. At that point, your certification would be of no use to you because it will not help you in coming up with those insights eventually. So that's the first set of things you have to do. Now we move into the next phase, which is what actually gets you the job. So this puts you in front of the recruiter. You showcase your skills, you have a public persona, you have a portfolio to show the type of projects that you have worked on. You then have to put in your applications. Okay? And this is the second most important thing you have to do. A lot of people make the mistake by thinking that I need to put in so much volume. I'm going to apply to 100 jobs every day, 50 jobs every day. When you apply to 50 jobs every day with the same strategy, the same CV, you are never going to get results. And a lot of people fall into this particular category. So it's a lot of volume, but there is no quality in the volume. So that's number one. You also have a different set of people that apply to just 5 jobs a day and expect to get a job just after applying to 5 jobs. All right. So those same set of people would never get positive outcomes. And you start to worry, what's the problem? Okay. You have another person who is applying to so many jobs without a tailored approach. And you have a category that applies to just a few jobs. Also, those two sets of people would find it very difficult to get any positive outcome. So what do you need to do when it comes to job application? And I always say this, applying to jobs is a job on its own. The job application process, it is tedious, it's a lot of work, and you have to give it that level of commitment if you ever want to get any positive outcome. You are competing with so many people for the same role. You are an immigrant. Probably you just moved from Nigeria to the UK or to Canada, or you just moved from South Africa to the US, and you're applying for jobs with so many people. So how do you stand out of the pack? That should always be the question. So rather than focusing on just volume, you want to focus on what? Quality volume. So if I'm going to apply to 50 jobs a day, I want to ensure that my applications are of what? Fantastic quality. And how do you ensure quality in application? Very simple. Number one thing you want to do is to always tailor your CV to every single application. All right? I can't overemphasize this. Tailor your CV. Now, we have so many people that they've come to us to say that Adaiza, I've been trying to get a job for the last 6 months, the last 1 year, and I've not really been able to get any positive results. And after asking so many questions, you find out that you are using one CV, you have one CV, and you use that one CV to apply to all the jobs you've been applying to. Okay, that would not give you any results because every single recruiter would search for the keywords required for a role on your CV. So when they look at your CV and compare it to the job requirements, does your CV match to that particular job requirement? So using one CV and applying to so many jobs would not give you that tailored application. So you want to take the job description or the job requirements from the job vacancy, and you use that as a basis to do what? Modify your CV. All right? To modify your CV. Okay? So in the job description, if you see a particular requirement, let's take, for example, the job role requires Python. So a particular requirement is Python. Another requirement is what? They need somebody who also have the understanding of pandas. All right. And let's say you have somewhere within that same job application that says machine learning. Okay. Now, Python, pandas is a package in Python. You use your Python to build your machine learning models. So for some people, they assume that because they are all interrelated, if I put Python, it covers for all those other areas. And that's a big mistake. So you have to look at all the different job requirements. how many times have they listed Python? How many times have they listed pandas, machine learning? How many times have they listed? And you use that to tailor your CV. So if you have Python written twice or 3 times in the job description, you want to have your job responsibilities in your previous experience or your key achievements from all the projects and the previous experience you have. You want to ensure that you also have it listed 3 to 4 times, even more than the job description. So by the time they do a match, which is called the ATS, the applicant tracking system, every job application would go through the applicant tracking system. So when it goes through the applicant tracking system, it finds those keywords on your CV, and your CV would have a very high percentage match. And that's when you start to get results. Without tailoring your CV for every application, you're likely not going to get positive outcomes in the form of interviews. And that's why you have so many people applying without the right type of strategy, and they don't get the type of results that they want. As simple as having Python written 3 times in the job description and you having it 4 times or 3 times on your CV, this is an appropriate way for you to tailor your CV. Okay? Simply beating the ATS system. But if you don't do this, you start to have problems. So you must tailor your CV to every single application. After you've done this, you should also know how to match, do the job matching, because these are the things the recruiters would do. The recruiters would match your CV to the job description, okay? And when they do the match, let's assume that they have a threshold or a benchmark of 85%. So anybody who has their CV match the job description by 85% gets called for an interview. You must also know how to do this job matching yourself. All right. And there are different tools you can use to match your CV to job applications. You can use JobScan. All right. You can use Jobalytics. You can even use ChatGPT. Okay. And it gives you a match to tell you by how much your CV matches that job description. So you know exactly where to make changes and how to tailor your CV. So when people ask the question, oh, Tenalytics, how have you been so successful in helping people to transition into tech? This is a major aspect, a major part of the success story, because every Tenalytics applicant, every Tenalytics participant would go through a CV review session. All right. And once you go through this CV review session, you would understand how to tailor your CV, leveraging different AI embedded tools from Jobalytics to ChatGPT. So you know how to do the job application the right way. If you're applying to 100 jobs, you tailor your CV 100 times. And that's why we say that the job application itself is a job. All right. It's a job that must be taken seriously. And without doing this, you're likely not going to get positive outcomes. Now, remember, you have limited experience in this regard, and you want to, showcase the major areas, the major aspects that will get you noticed and get you into the room. Once you are into the room, when you've been invited for an interview, for us at Tenalytics, we say that it's a 50-50. You have 50% chance of getting that job. And we would help you to increase that 50% to a 90% chance. How do we do that? We do that through our interview preparation session, but you must get your foot into the door. So going back to the very beginning, where you want to focus on getting skills. You've gotten the skills, you've built a portfolio, you have a personal persona on LinkedIn that showcases that this is the career path you're trying to move into. You come back here, the second aspect, I need to start applying to jobs. You must have the right type of CV. You must know the right format of the CV to use to apply based on your specific locations and so on and so forth. That CV must also be tailored to what? Every single application. You must also know how to match your CV to the job description itself. So if you don't meet a job description of 85%, which is our own benchmark at Tenalytics, you don't apply to that job yet, You keep on tweaking and modifying your CV until it gives you an 85% match. Once you've done this, you will get noticed, you'll get into the room, and you'll be invited for interviews. And this takes us to the third aspect, where too many people falter and they make mistakes, forgetting that the interview itself is a sales pitch. The interview is not just a conversation. You are trying to convince people to buy into you. You're trying to convince people to tell them that you are the best person for this particular job. So that's your focus when you have interviews. And the way we help you with this is once you have an interview, at that point, when you get the invitation, it's a 50-50 chance for you. Okay? But what do we do? Through our interview preparation, so we schedule interview prep sessions with you, and we work with you. We come up based on our experience, the job description. We simulate the type of questions you are likely going to get asked in this interview. We ask you those questions, you give us a feedback, and we are able to, give you feedback as well to tell you that, look, you need to prepare, work a little bit more on these areas and so on and so forth. And with this interview prep, it increases your chances by 90% to landing that job. But you must always remember that every single interview is a sales pitch. And you are going there to represent yourself as the best person for that job. Without you, that job cannot get done. That's what you want to showcase to recruiters. So you must always remember, have that objective at the back of your mind. And secondly, there are key areas I've seen based on my experience helping people prepare for interviews, helping people, being on an interview panel as well. Questions as simple as introduce yourself or tell me, let's get to meet you. Okay, can we get to meet you? Tell me about yourself. People struggle to answer questions as simple as that. Okay, people struggle to answer questions as simple as that. So when you have this particular challenge, and that's where it all starts from. If you don't start on a good note, then it's a downward spiral from there. So tell me about yourself. Oh, my name is Adeza. I'm the first son of my family. I'm currently in Canada. I studied industrial chemistry as an undergraduate. And you start talking about things that are so irrelevant. Okay, that are so irrelevant to your new career path. All right. So you must know how to introduce yourself using techniques like the SEAT approach. And I'll talk about that, the SEAT approach. S for skills, E for experience, all right, A for achievements, and T for what? Traits or type of person. All right, so you want to start by introducing yourself, talking about your skills. The skills must be aligned to the job you're applying to. Your experience should be aligned to the job you're applying to. Your achievements, every employer wants to recruit and hire a superstar. You must always portray yourself as a superstar, over-exaggerate your achievements. And then your traits or type of person. Who are you as an individual? What are your core principles? And your core principles must always align to the core values of that company. So before the interview, you must research the company, check for their core values. If one of their core values is professionalism, you want to also tell them that you're very professional, you ensure that you get the job done, and you're always at the forefront of problem solving in any organization. So you want to introduce yourself using a specific approach, which would make you sound a lot smarter and a lot more interesting in that interview. Secondly, during the interview process, a question that also gets asked, which is the most important because competency-based questions carry the highest marks. Okay, so when you see recruiters writing and taking down notes or scoring you during the interviews, the competency-based questions carry the highest marks. So questions like, tell me about a time you solved a problem by building a machine learning model in any organization, all right? Or tell me about a time you were able to help your organization take a data-driven decision. So they want to ask you these questions to get an idea of how all the things you've done, what you have on your CV. Sell the story to us. Tell us about the project. Tell us about your experience using these tools or your experience implementing these techniques that we are trying to recruit you for. Okay? And the competency-based questions must be answered in a particular way as well, leveraging an approach we call the STAR approach, where you want to start by talking about the situation, and then you move to the task. So what was the situation that led to that part? Decision. Okay, you can start by explaining the situation. Oh, there was a time where in one of our locations, we were losing about 50% of our revenue, and we had no clue why we were losing that money. So the task, what was expected to be done based on that situation? A is the action. What action did you take as an individual, not as a team, but as an individual? What action did you take? And R is the results. What was the outcome after you implemented those actions? So you want to answer these questions leveraging a specific approach, which makes your story a lot more organized. Because remember, the interviewers would have so many other people they would listen to, and they'll go for the best set of candidates eventually. All right. And one thing you must never do is when they ask you, do you have any questions for us? You say, no, I don't have any question. Are you sure you don't have questions? No, I don't have any questions. All right. You must always have questions for your interviewers. And this is where you interview the interviewers, and we call it the reverse interview. You must always ask questions during interviews. Compelling questions that are thought-provoking, that also shows them that you have researched about the role, you've researched about the company, and you are ready for this particular job. If you don't do these things during interview, because interview is where you have an inroad right in front of your potential colleagues in the future. So you want to portray your very best self. You want to prepare for that particular experience and that particular session. Now, before I move on to the next slide, I want to talk about something very important, okay? And this is where somebody asked the question, I have just learned a particular skill. I have never worked before, okay? Which is where you don't have experience. But you've worked on projects, you've joined the training. During the training, you worked on projects and so on and so forth. So let's assume you worked on 20 projects in the space of 4 months during your training with us. Those projects would serve as experience for you. And one thing we always advise our participants at Tenalytics is the moment you register with us, you are no longer a learner. You are not a trainee. You are an employee. Okay? So when you work on projects with Tenalytics, your projects would get translated into what? Experience. So you are going to tell those recruiters and explain to them that this particular project, you were working as a data analyst consultant or a data science consultant with Tenalytics, and this was how you helped a client to solve certain type of problems. So you convert your projects to what? Experience. That's number one. Number two, let's assume you've worked in the banking industry as a banker or as a logistics professional, or you've worked in logistics, or you've worked in customer service. What we also do for you and advise you is you convert your previous experience. So as a customer service professional, what was your role? You always talked to customers. You found out the issues they had. You helped them resolve those issues. Okay, so now you are moving into a new career path. Let's say the career path is data analytics. So from customer service to what? Data analytics. So what do? You take your customer service experience and you convert it to what? Data analytics. You convert your experience to have a flavor of data analytics. For example, we're going to talk about things like where you gathered customer data to identify the common pain points of customers using Excel, and you were able to use this to recommend solutions to the organization. And this reduced customer complaints by 80%. All right. So as a customer service professional, you discuss with customers, you receive phone calls, and you help customers solve their problem. But this time around, you're going to tweak that experience to have Excel in it. So you gathered customer data using Excel or using Power BI, and you were able to analyze the data to find out the common customer pain points and recommended solutions. And this reduced customer complaints by 80%. So we work with you and we show you how to convert your previous experience. It doesn't matter what you've done. You've worked as a customer service, you've worked in healthcare, you've worked as a lawyer, you convert and add a flavor of that new career path you're trying to move into your previous experience. So if you have 5 years as a banker, or you have 4 years as a customer service professional, this would add to your data analytics experience. You're not going to go into that room, or you're not going to have a CV where you tell people that, oh, I have just 4 months experience. No, your previous experience also counts because you now have the skills. You know how to do the job. All right. So if you're asked questions around that area, it's easy for you to explain. It's easy for you to understand, and you know exactly how to portray yourself as a data analyst because you've learned all the skills. And the same skills that you've learned are the same skills anybody who gets into that role would also have to deploy. And this is how you convert your previous experience. You take your projects, and this all forms into experience for you. And remember this, no recruiter wants to hire somebody who has 3 months experience or 4 months experience, all right? Because as far as they're concerned, you'd be learning on their behalf. You'd be a liability to them because they'll have to do a lot of training for you because you'd come across to them as somebody who is a beginner. You don't want to come across as a beginner, all right? So these are some of the things you have to do to get you into the room, have a conversation, and ensure that you sell yourself during the interview. And we're going to quickly move into very, important misconceptions that people have, and this holds a lot of people back. And the misconceptions are very, very dangerous. And the reason why they're dangerous is you have somebody move to the UK, and a lot of people talk about only one specific type of job in the UK, for example, which is care jobs. You need to get a care job. That's what you have to do to ensure you're able to feed yourself. You have to ensure that you're able to get some money, or you have to work in the warehouse. But these are very wrong, misconceptions. These are myths, not the facts. All right. So you have a lot of people that they make up their mind. I'm not going to work in the warehouse. I'm not going to work in, do the care jobs if that's not what I want to do. I want to get a job as a data analyst when I move into this organization, or I want to get a job as a business analyst the moment I land in Canada. All right. So you must always follow the facts and don't listen to hearsay and don't listen to myth. And some of the major misconceptions you'd hear. Number one is, I don't have a tech-related degree, so I don't think I can transition into tech. I've been in tech for about a decade. I studied industrial chemistry as an undergrad. I have no tech-related degree. Efemena, who introduced himself a few minutes ago, also studied economics in the university as an undergrad. No experience, no tech-related degree. But he's a leader when it comes to the tech ecosystem. So you don't need any tech-related degree, all right? If this is what you've always thought, take it out of your head. Recruiters, you see the job requirements, they would have, you need a degree in computer science, this and that. Go ahead and apply. Even if you've studied biology, you've studied physiology, you've studied history, as long as you have the skill, because tech is skill-based, you will get yourself into the door, all right? Another major misconception is I don't have UK Canadian experience. I hear this a lot. Oh, I don't have Canadian experience. I need Canadian work experience to get a job. And this is absolute nonsense, absolute nonsense, all right? So many of our participants gotten into Canada the first month, 2 months, they got a job without doing anything else. I'll showcase a particular gentleman, his story. I'll talk about his story to you. All right. This guy left Nigeria working in the bank. Before he left Nigeria, he came to us and said he wants to get into tech when he gets to Canada. He doesn't want to do any of those odd jobs. What should he do? We advised him, we worked with him, he joined our training, we mentored him, and 3 months after getting to Canada, he landed his first job as a business data analyst. Today, he's on 6 figures as a solutions analyst with one of the largest insurance companies in Canada. So when you hear people talk about UK experience, Canadian experience, it doesn't exist. It's an excuse people have come up with over the years to, close the gap of their inadequacies. So you've gone into interviews, you've messed up, and you don't get the job, and you blame it on Canadian work experience. That doesn't exist. Excel in Nigeria is Excel in Canada. Power BI in Kenya is Power BI in the US. All right. How have you utilized these tools, utilized the skills to solve problems for organizations? How have you been able to convince the potential recruiter that you're the best person for the job? All right. So UK Canadian work experience means nothing. It is absolute nonsense. All right. The moment you start believing this, you start to limit yourself and you don't get that job. And it has pervaded the migrant community. You hear everybody talking about this. And I tell you, it's just an excuse for people to do what? To cover up for their inadequacies. Okay. Another major misconception is, oh, I need to have all the certifications on earth to get a job. I think I've explained this already. Recruiters don't care about your paper certifications. They don't care about the paper you have. Anybody who is smart enough can sit down, write an exam and pass. Unfortunately, you also have people who write exams for other people and they get the certification. But does that show that you can do the job? The answer is no. So we are moving very fast from a paper economy, which we call credential economy, to a competence economy, which is skill-based. How good are you? How good are you with these skills to getting the job done? That's another major misconception we always want to, dispel almost immediately. Another one is, oh, I'm a lawyer, I'm a banking officer, I've worked in healthcare, I've not done anything tech before. Can I transition? And the answer is yes. I was a management consultant. Femena was a management consultant. We transitioned, and our participants who have joined Tenalytics over the years, you have lawyers, you have medical doctors, you have healthcare professionals, you have a care worker who transitioned into tech, and I'll share some of their stories with you. Okay, so this is also a major misconception. All you need to know is it is skill-based, and as long as it is skill-based, it means that I can learn the skill and I can also get a job, just like everybody else who has gotten a job in the space. Most of the time, it's all about the mindset that you bring into this. Finally, I'll talk about age. Oh, I'm 45 and I think I'm too old. Or, oh, I'm 35, I've had extensive experience in a different other career. I don't think I can transition. No recruiter in the major economies, especially in the US, across Europe, in Canada, in the UK, would discriminate against you because of your age. So it's important for you to know this and know that rather than focusing on the things that would limit you to get the job, why not focus on the areas that would give you the best possible opportunities to land your very first job in a specific area within tech? So these are major misconceptions that I want you to take out of your mind today. If you've ever thought about this before, please ensure that you take it out of your minds. Okay. Now, for all the areas I'll be sharing with you, we'll do a very practical example. We'll go online and we'll do a search. Okay. Like Daniel is saying that some jobs require that you state certifications. Not any of the roles we are introducing to you, not data analytics, not data science, not business analysis, not cybersecurity, and so on and so forth. Okay, it's all about the skills. There is no certification as a prerequisite. All right, so these are major misconceptions, and like I said, we built these misconceptions over the years that we start to believe them ourselves, even though we have not experienced them, but we believe them even though we haven't experienced. So this is coming from people who have been in the space for over a decade. experts within the space who have helped over 2,000 people to also get jobs. All right. And these misconceptions do not exist. Okay. I'm just quickly going to show you very quickly some of where the opportunities are, because tech is very broad. Okay, tech is very broad. It's a very broad area. Tech includes so many areas like software engineering, UI, UX. But where are the opportunities in tech? There are 8 different areas that we came about that would get you the job the fastest. If you're looking to land a job within the next 4 months, which specific area should you look at? And this stems from the World Economic Forum report. We look at the World Economic Forum, the Future of Jobs reports, which showcases the jobs that would grow in the next 5 years. Okay, and if you plug into those areas, you would get a job in the very shortest time possible. And there are 8 different career paths we came up with. Number 1 is business analysis. Absolute fantastic salaries, irrespective of where you are. For those of you in Canada, you'd also understand that as a business analyst, you are in high demand. The role is in very high demand. You have the skills as a business analyst, you get a job and land a job very, very fast. Also in the US and as well in the UK. In the UK, the business analyst role is on the shortage occupation list, meaning that this is a role that have very few people with the skills and the capacity to apply and get jobs in those areas. And the salary is also absolutely fantastic, depending on the specific region you're trying to get a job in. Data analytics as well is number 2. As a data analyst, you command a phenomenal, fantastic salary. I've been a data analyst for about a decade. All you need is to showcase that you have skills in this area, you've worked on projects and you've done this, you've done that, and that gives you the inroad into getting jobs in that area. Financial analytics as well, absolutely fantastic salary. In the US, on the average per annum, you can earn as high as $74,000 US dollars on the average as a financial analytics professional. As a HR analyst, also fantastic salaries. In the UK, 32,500 per annum. In Canada, 71,000 Canadian dollars per annum on the average. And when you move to the full stack data science, that's a data scientist, you start to move into the 6 figures. The jobs I'll give you the 6 figures very, very fast. And then in the US, you have on the average about 121,000 US dollars as a data scientist. In Canada, about 94,000 Canadian dollars. Now, remember, I told you about a gentleman who is currently on 6 figures and is in Canada. He's a data analyst. And that shows you that this gives you just a picture of what the average salary is. All right. It's not the maximum. It's not the minimum. It's the average. And we have people who have gotten jobs that pay them way higher than the average. The Scrum Master, fantastic career path, a career path that pays you a phenomenal salary. And you can learn this skill very, very fast. In about 2-3 months, you can learn the rudiments of Scrum. You get into projects, you work on an internship, you build a project, and you are able to start to apply to jobs. Data engineering as well, another 6-figure job. On the average in Canada, 102,000 per annum. In the US, 134,000 US dollars. And cybersecurity, another 6-figure job. Career path. In the UK, you get about 57,000 pounds per annum on the average. In Canada, 140,000 Canadian dollars, and in the US, 105,000 US dollars. And these are the 8 specific areas that we'll be looking at today, based on the World Economic Forum that showcases that these are the jobs that will grow in the next 5 years. You want to transition into a career path where there is a demand and there is a future for those career, and not an area that will be declining over the next few years. All right. But again, it sounds impossible until it is done. You want to see people that have done this. They've joined, they've gotten success stories, and today they currently have jobs across different areas, working as a data analyst, as a data scientist, and so on and so forth. So I'll showcase just a few to you, while Efemena would come back to talk about those areas that you need to focus on. As a data analyst, what must you know? What must you learn to transition into data analytics? As a data scientist, what must you learn to transition into data science? Ifemena will come back to walk us through that. So you have Ini. Ini got a job as a CEO of a tech company after he joined Tenalytics. So he joined our program last year in October 2023. He completed his program in January 2024, and he was able to land a job in January, the same month that he completed the program. Now, why are we showcasing Ini's success story? The reason is simple. And I've also left a link to the video where Ini talked about himself, his experience with Tenalytics, all right, and how Tenalytics played a role in helping him get this job. Some of the things you do when you join the Tenalytics program includes the mentorship sessions, the CV review sessions, how to navigate the job market sessions. For these mentorship sessions, you have myself, Ifemena, and so many other industry experts. And we come to show you, talk to you, and show you practically what you need to do if you want to break into the tech ecosystem. So this gentleman has been in tech for about a decade, but he couldn't, make an inroad for himself. He never knew how to project, how to sell himself to potential employers. After he started joining our mentorship sessions, he started to see how to sell himself a lot better, how to structure his CV, and he applied to a job, not to get a job as a CEO. He just applied to the job. It was a senior role. And based on the way he was able to convince them and sell himself to them, they upgraded the role to the CEO role, because at that specific time, the CEO was also resigning. And that was how Ini was able to land this job. And we worked with Ini, we prepared him for his interview, and he was able to land this job this year, 2024, just last month, as a CEO of that particular organization. Nathaniel joined us in July 2023. By October, he had completed his program, and he got a job as a business analyst in Spain in December 2023. You also have Efe. Efe got a job as a business analyst, joined us in April 2023, completed our program in July, and got a job in October. All right. And this goes back to the fact, all the things I talked about earlier. How do you structure your CV? How do you structure your LinkedIn? How do you prepare yourself for that eventual job you're going to be applying to? And all the strategies I just reeled out to you in the last few minutes are the same strategies we deployed for Ini, for Efe, for Nathaniel, for Kehinde, who got a job with the NHS in Southampton in the UK as a data analyst and as an R&D specialist data analyst. All right. And Kehinde got this job in October 2023. She joined us in April, completed her training in July. And within 3 months after completing the training, she was able to land a job with the NHS in Southampton on full visa sponsorship. All right. So this was somebody who was a master's student. She joined our program, completed her master's, and she was able to land a sponsored job. So Ini wrote a very long epistle thanking Tenalytics, all right, of how Tenalytics helped him and how Tenalytics brought out the ginger in me, okay, brought out the ginger in me through the different mentorship sessions and so on. I'll leave this to you to read when you receive the slide at the end of today's session. You also have Toyin. Toyin landed a job with the NHS as well as a benefits analyst in the UK, also came with full visa sponsorship. So Toyin is currently on a tier 2 visa. She remains back in the UK working with the NHS as a benefits analyst. You have Oluwatosin, who got a job as a fraud analyst also in the UK, where he helps to prevent credit card frauds. And I want us to listen to Oluwatosin very quickly. And we're also going to listen to, maybe I'll just explain Olugbemi's story. Remember Olugbemi I talked about? Olugbemi was able to land a full-time job. This was the gentleman I talked about that left Nigeria, moved to Canada, and he was very specific about not doing any job, any menial job. He didn't want to work as a cleaner. He didn't want to work in the warehouse. He knew what he wanted. He joined Tenalytics, completed his program, and we worked with him to prepare him for his interviews. He had a series of interviews. I worked with him specifically. And that was how he landed his first job as a business data analyst with a law depot in Canada. He moved from that role as a business data analyst, and today he works as a solutions analyst with one of the largest insurance companies in Canada. And we also have Gbenga. Gbenga got a job as a business data analyst after training with us in our data analytics program. He got a job in Poland. All right. Now, what makes Gbenga's story also very phenomenal is simply because Gbenga for 2 years had been trying to get a job, but couldn't get a job until he joined our Tenalytics program. We worked with him and he got 4 offers. After training with us, he got 4 offers, and Gbenga, went for the best offer eventually. And today he has recommended over 10 people to join the program as well, simply because of how amazing and the positive outcomes he was able to get working with us at Tenalytics, all right? And you have so many other people. You have Abigail. Abigail, she worked as a care worker in Canada. She joined our business analysis program, and she was able to transition. Today, she works with the government of Alberta in Canada, the government of Alberta, as a business analyst in Edmonton. And Abigail was able to transition from a care worker to getting a job as a business analyst after completing our training. And I advise you to listen to Abigail, listen to her story, so you get to hear the amazing stuff she was able to do and the role Tenalytics also played in helping our transition. You have Biola, who works with one of the largest financial giants. You have Zainab, who also got a job as a data manager. Shadi got a job as a data scientist. Ikmat got a job as a data analyst, also on full visa sponsorship in the UK. You have Bernard, who got a scholarship with his university in Canada. We wrote a reference letter for Bernard and was able to secure a scholarship and also landed a job as a data analyst in the same university. So I'm quickly going to play, let's listen to Gbenga very quickly. And yeah, Gbenga, maybe Gbenga and Tony, and then Ifemena would come back to walk us through some other very important aspects of our program today. All right, so I'm just going to click on this link and let's sit back, relax, and let's listen to what Gbenga has to say about his experience joining us at Tenalytics.
Let's say I'm working.
Okay, so, all right. So you want to increase the volume of your device, your laptop, your mobile phones. All right, it's just a 1 minute, 1.5 minute video, so it's quite short. I'll just click on play. So sit back, relax, and listen to what Gbenga has to say.
My name is Olaguju Gbenga. I want to share the testimony of how I was able to secure a very good job by the help of Tenalytics. I was searching for a job for almost 2 years. I came across Tenalytics on Instagram. I sent a DM and they were helpful. I enrolled in the data analytics course and it was awesome. I learned a lot about Excel, data analytics, Tableau, how to organize data and also to draw insights from data, how to build a dashboard and also to write a report, conclusions of data. So I must say Tenalytics is the right place to learn how to be a data scientist, how to be a data analyst, how to be an HR analyst and so on like that. They are always around. They have the best hands to take care of your needs when it comes to data. So I enrolled in the course, and even during the course, I started applying for jobs and I started getting interview calls, and they were also available to explain and also give me preparation questions on how to approach these interviews and also to pass them. I was able to secure and even get about 4 offers after all my interview sessions. So I must say that Tenalytics have really been a great help to me, and I was able to secure a job of my dreams, literally. Thank you. Refer people, tell your friends about them, enroll today, and the sky is your limit. Thank you so much.
All right. So the reason why Gbenga said it was the job of his dreams, I know the reason, of course, because he shared the offer with me, and the offer was absolutely phenomenal. It was a phenomenal offer. It was a hybrid role. He didn't have to go to the office every day, and the salary was absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Okay, so I'm just going to click on one more person. Let's just listen very quickly, and then we'll move into the next phase of our session. All right, I want us to listen to Oluwatoyin. Okay, Oluwatoyin, who got a job with the NHS in the UK, sponsored job as a benefits analyst after joining us. So let's listen to Toyin.
Hello everyone, my name is Toyin and I recently got a job as a benefits analyst in the UK. I've come from a medical background as a pharmacist who is interested in, breaking into tech. My first encounter with analytics was on LinkedIn. I joined one of their masterclass, just one masterclass where Efemina spoke, and it just took that masterclass to convince me. I joined in August, and a month after, I got a job. To be honest with you, every information skill that I was able to apply to get that job, I owe it to Tenalytics. Tenalytics did a great job and is still doing a great job. They groom you and nurture you from the cradle till you become confident. So my advice for you, most importantly, is join. Be integrated into a platform that empowers you and allows you to easily get that first job.
Right, so that was also Toyin's story, and that's Toyin over here. Toyin got a job a month after joining, and people would ask, how do you get a job 1 month after joining a program? And let me tell you the secrets, okay? All you need to do is 1 month into your program, you would have learned enough. You'd have completed your Excel. If you're in data analytics, for example, you'd have completed your Excel classes, all right, within a month. You'd have also had your CV review sessions. And the moment you have that, we start to push you to apply to jobs. Start getting interview experience. Start interviewing to prepare yourself ahead. So you don't have to wait until 4 months when you are done before you start to apply to jobs. So that was what Toyin did and what our participants always do. And that's why you'd see a lot of them getting jobs even before they are done with the program, or 1 month into the program, 2 months into the program, because you don't need to wait until 4 months. Most of the time, the skills you need to land that first job, you've learned them within the first few months, 1-2 months after joining, and that is enough for you to land the very first jobs. And there's so many other people. I'm not going to bore you with all the testimonials. I want you to listen to them, okay? So when you get the slide, click on the link, go to our YouTube and listen to the amazing professionals and how they were able to transition across different roles in different regions, in the UK, in Canada, the US, and so on and so forth. Okay, I'm going to bring back Efemina. Efemina would come back and walk us through the rest of our session for today. So all these professionals, how did they start? How do you select the right career path to get you into tech? I showed you 8 different career paths, okay? So how do you understand the career path that is right for you? So Efemina would walk us through this very, very quickly, and then we'll start to take your questions. I can see questions are pouring in the chat, and Efemina has been answering. So I will also be available to take more questions before we wrap up our session today. Somebody saying I'm an investment banker from Nigeria, and I think business analysis will be good for me. So that's Onimisi. That's absolutely fantastic. Onimisi, I'm sending you a direct email. Okay, so just send me an email and we can take the conversation further. So Efemina, over to you. Let's get the other part of our session going.
All right, fantastic. Absolutely excited to be here. We're usually very excited to talk to people that are really looking forward to starting their careers in the tech space. And essentially, you would have deduced from the last 1 hour or thereabout that did as we're talking, and you would know that, this thing seems so difficult. It seems so a bit vague for a start, when you're trying to transition. There are so many questions that you have, there's so many concerns, there are so many misconceptions about you getting started. Now, the reason why we started analytics is plain and simple. How do we get more Africans? How do we get more people into the tech space? That's literally why we're here today. All right. So the key question is, how do we get you the roles that you're looking out for? Now, we've talked about several roles: business analysis, data analytics, HR analytics, financial analytics, Scrum Master, cybersecurity, data engineering, data science, and so on. Now, amongst all these data, amongst all the courses that we talked about, which of them would you be interested in? Let me even start from there. Then we can talk more about how you can actually get started. Now, in the chat, I want you guys to tell me the courses that the programs or the career paths that is most desirable for you. So do you want to become a business analyst? Do you want to become a data engineer, data scientist, Scrum Master? Put it in the chat. Let me see the people I'll be talking to in the next few seconds. All right. So we have data analyst, we have data engineer, we have data analytics, business analysis. Okay, that's good. We have data analytics, cybersecurity. Okay, let's keep it going. Data analytics, HR analytics, and yeah, keep it coming. I love the energy. Let's keep it coming. Let's keep it coming. Scrum Master, data engineering, data science. Unfortunately, we don't do web development. Okay. Yeah, so keep it coming. I'll be looking at that in the chat, and let's jump straight into it. And you see, a lot of people are having misconception. What's the difference between business analysis, data analytics? What's the difference between data analytics and data science? And the role of a data scientist, would I be able to do the role of a data engineer? You can see it's just, so many questions that you guys have, when you're looking to get it started. And those are the things that we'll be talking about in the next 1 hour maximum. All right. So today's session is not going to take too long, okay, to be honest with you. So the next 1 hour, I will just be walking you through what you need to do in order for you to transition into this career path of your choice. All right. Now let's jump straight into it. The first career path we're going to be talking about today is business analysis. All right, business analysis. Now the key misconception, okay, about this role, most people think that business analysis and data analytics are the same thing. All right, I can see somebody in the chat telling me, asking the question, what's the difference between a business analyst and a data analyst? Now, key thing that you need to know is it is analysis, not analytics. Anything analytics is data analysis, data analytics, okay? So data analytics, business analytics, these are all domains of data analytics, okay? But the key word here is data analysis, okay? Not analytics. Analysis, not analytics. So it is analysis, okay? Not analytics, okay? That's one thing you need to know, okay? So when you're talking about the role of a business analyst, you're performing what we call business analysis, okay? Now, essentially, what does this person do? I'm just going to, like I said, it's just 1 hour, so I'll breeze through the roles, make you understand the roles, what you need to learn, and how you can get started, all right? Now, for the role of a business analyst, which is a very fundamental role in any organization across the world, all right? These are the guys that are in charge of business processes, okay? All right? They're in charge of what we call business processes, okay? And the key role here is to make it efficient, okay? To make these business processes more efficient. Now, take for example, I'm going to use different examples so that you can make, drive home the point a bit better. Now, take for example, you work in a hospital, okay? All right? You work in a hospital. All right. And in this hospital, as a business analyst, you figure out that, and you have a lot of patients waiting in the reception. Okay. You have the reception hall where, whenever a patient comes in, they have to wait there before they can see the doctor, before they can see a nurse, before they can see an expert, especially. So, as a business analyst, you did your analysis and you find out that your wait time, okay, your wait time for a patient, okay, is about 30 minutes. All right. It's about 30 minutes. Okay. Now, maybe you did a further analysis, you did a bit of, questions, you asked people around, and you found out that your competitors, all right, the competitors, that's the neighboring hospitals around your own brand, around your own hospital, all right, their own wait time is about 15 minutes. Okay. All right. So it's common sense, okay, to see that if your wait time is 30 minutes, if patients are coming to your hospital and they're waiting about 30 minutes on average to see an expert, and then get to know that the competitors around you are doing it in lesser the time, in 15 minutes, there's a likelihood that you're going to have a lot of customers moving from your own hospital to a different hospital, all right, to your competitors. Now, the key role for the business analyst is, how can we improve, all right, how can we improve this particular process, okay? So currently, if the current process is a manual process whereby, all right, whenever the patient comes into the hospital, that's when, you ask for like a paper, tell them to fill a paper form, tell them to, the paper form is a folder, a physical folder, everything is manual, okay? You have a receptionist that has to write down your complaints and all those things. So everything is manual. So now the key role of the business analyst is to see how can we improve this particular process. All right. How can we automate certain processes within the business? How can we improve it? How can we take this 30 minutes? How can we reduce it to 5 minutes or less? Okay. All right. How can we reduce it to like about 5 minutes? That's the role of the business analyst. So you're looking at business processes within the organization and you're trying to improve it to become more efficient. And through that efficiency, the business is likely going to make more money. All right. Because if your wait time reduces from 30 minutes to 5 minutes, it means that more customers are happy to come in because they know that they're going to experience a faster service. All right. And that would also steal more, customers from your business and from your competitors, bring them in. And that's the same thing you can carry across every business, every organization, every supply chain. Take, for example, you are a customer. We're all customers. We buy stuff online. Okay, let's say we are buying, when you buy stuff from Amazon, okay, it takes about 2 days before the product gets to you. All right. Well, the competitor, let's say another competitor, let's say AliExpress, okay, let's say AliExpress, all right, is selling the same product, but they will deliver to you in 1 day. All right, they'll deliver to you next day. So if you buy today, they deliver to you the next day. Now, Amazon, the business analyst in Amazon is likely going to be looking at this process as inefficient. Our competitors are doing it in 1 day, okay? Means that you are selling the same product, you're selling the same service, okay? Now, how can we beat down our delivery time from 2 days to match up 1 day delivery or even maybe same day delivery, all right? Same day delivery. So that's a process. Delivery process. How when you buy something online and it gets delivered to you, it's taking 2 days in Amazon, but AliExpress is doing it in a day. All right. So you see, that's where you now start to look at it to say that, okay, how can we improve this process to make sure from 2 days, how can we make it to get to like a day or same day delivery? Do you understand? And all these things that we're talking about, essentially, all right, that's where you now start to talk about process mapping, okay, because you need to understand the process of delivery. You need to understand the process of onboarding a patient in the hospital. You need to understand the processes of every organization. So you see, process mapping is an essential skill set of a business analyst, okay? So what do you need to learn to become a business analyst, okay? You see, the first couple of things you need to learn is analytics, okay? All right. So this is where you are doing sort of the work of a data analyst, but not extensively. All right. So you're learning Excel, you're learning Power BI, and you're learning SQL. So you need to have the skill sets. Now, this is a very recent development. This is not something that has existed for, from time immemorial for the role of a business analyst. All right. This is something that is recent in the last 2 years. Organizations are now, are looking for business analysts with a spice of data analytics, okay? They're looking for business analysts that understands how to draw out processes, improve processes, all right? But now they're looking for those kind of people with a spice of data analytics, okay? So that's exactly what we're trying to do. That's exactly why you are learning analytics. So you're going to be learning Excel, you're going to be learning Power BI, and you're going to be learning SQL. So you'll be learning these things to perform the role of data analysis, to analyze data and come up with insights from the data. All right. And that's why if you go online now, you'll see roles like business data analyst. All right, business data analyst. You'll see stuff like business systems analyst. So these are roles that involves a bit of analytics as a business analyst. All right, and this just gives you a wide array of other roles that you can actually apply to as a business analyst. Okay. Now, the other key component, all right, that you will need to learn in order for you to succeed in the role of a business analyst, first of them is process mapping. Okay, so we talked about processes. Take for example, if you currently where you are, how you got to this place, how you got to this call today, there's a process that went through. There's a process that we have within analytics. All right. So the process was okay, click the link in our bio, register for the masterclass, and the link will be sent to you in order for you to join the masterclass. All right. That process can be improved. Before, when we started analytics, that process was not that, it wasn't that it wasn't that concise, it wasn't that optimized. Okay, there were several blockages that we had to take down. So you see those processes, every organization comprises of different processes. You want to go on leave within your organization, there's a process you go through in order for you to go on leave. You have to send an email to your direct boss that then approves it, then sends it to HR, then HR approves, then you can go on leave. There's a process. So essentially, as a business analyst, you need to be able to, draw up, map out processes of different organizations. Then the next thing you need to do is project essential planning. You move into Agile and Scrum for projects. So as a business analyst, you'll be handling these different kinds of projects. So you need to understand the different methodologies that different organizations use in order for you to, plan out these projects. So we have Agile and we have Scrum, and those are the things you'll learn during the training program. We also have software development lifecycle, which is another essential skill set of a business analyst. So I talked about the hospital, for example. All right. So if the current processes are manual and you want to build a web application, for example, you need to build a web application. So as a patient, before you come to the hospital, you can go online and book a slot. Okay, so you're not coming to the hospital to wait. You can actually just go on the website and book your time to say, oh, I'm coming in at 11 o'clock. I'm booking your slot. So when you're getting there at 11, you are meeting the doctor immediately. So the wait time of 30 minutes has been reduced drastically. So there's no wait time. So in order for you to build a website, okay, you need to understand what we call the software development lifecycle. Okay. We also have requirement fundamentals, elicitation, stakeholder analysis and engagement, ChatGPT for business analysis, and that's you leveraging the AI as a business analyst. All right. And you'll see over the last 1-2 years, okay, we've seen the growth in the acceptance of AI within the business world. Okay. And that's we also updating our curriculum to match up the demand of what recruiters are looking out for. All right. So you see, without a doubt, this is a fully packed curriculum. Learning analytics, then moving into the core areas of business analysis, then also leveraging AI as the business analyst. So when you say something is end-to-end, this curriculum is end-to-end. Now, another question you'll be asking yourself, what is the timeline? How long is it going to take me to learn all these things in order for me to become a business analyst? And it's very simple, very straightforward answer. It's 4 months, okay? 4 months of immersive learning experience. Can somebody say immersive? Immersive learning experience, okay? You're going to be having fun while you're learning, all right? 4 months of learning, that's, essentially this 4 months is divided into 4 months of live classes where you have an instructor in front of you, taking you through the curriculum, taking you step by step of what you need to learn, how you need to learn it, and how it is being used in the industry. So you have that live classes with, an expert walking you through the class. Then you also have 2 months of, very structured, immersive internship. Okay, where no more training wheels. Okay, no more training wheels. You are working full-time as a business analyst, all right, in a structured scenario-based case study. All right, where you'll be working on a live web application development and deployment project, all right, where you'll be harnessing your skills and leveraging it in a live project itself. So 2 months of learning and 2 months of project-based internship experience, okay? So when you combine that together, you have 4 months of you gaining hands-on practical experience of you working as a technical business analyst. And thereafter, you can go on to getting the jobs that you desire. And that's one of the major reasons why we have such a very huge success in people transitioning into the tech space. All right. Now, classes, all right. It's for 4 months. How are the classes structured? So you have classes Saturday and on Sunday. Okay. So our classes are divided for the EU, UK, and Africa. We have the EU, UK, and African time, and we also have the Canada and the US time. So if you're currently in Africa, you're currently in the UK, you're currently in any country in Europe, okay, you can always go for the morning session. So that is 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. West African time. Okay, that's on Saturday. Okay, and on the evening session, which is for the guys in Canada and the US, okay, that is 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. West African time. Okay, that will translate to 10 a.m. to 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Okay, that is Canadian time. Okay, so essentially, you can either go for the morning session or the evening session, whatever works for you. And on Sunday, the same time, we have 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. for the afternoon classes, West African time. And we have for the evening time, we have 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. West African time, 12, that is translating to 12 to 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So whatever time works for you, you can always take on from there. All right. Essentially, the classes are weekends. So even if you're a busy working professional, Monday to Friday, you're working, it really doesn't matter. It doesn't affect your schedule. All right. You could always learn on the weekends. All right. So you're building yourself on the weekends, and that's 4 months experience is what you're going to use in the future. So you're not quitting your day job. You're not quitting your job in order for you to learn this, in order for you to transition. Literally, we are leveraging your current experience in order for you to get started. So like I mentioned, you're going to work with Excel, you're going to work with SQL, you're going to work with Power BI, you're going to work with Lucy Charts, okay? All right, sorry. You're going to work with Lucy Charts, you're going to work with Confluence, Jira Software, Draw.io, you're going to work with Trello and ChatGPT. So when they say something is fully packed, this is the curriculum for you, all right? So moving on to the role of the data analyst, okay? Now, like I mentioned, most people, there's a major misconception between business analysis and data analytics. Now, I've explained the role of a business analyst, which is more process inclined. So you're trying to improve processes within the business, okay? All right, either through automation or through a software application, whatever the case might be, you're just trying to improve a particular process, all right? Whereas the data analyst is the person that is the core data, professional that is analyzing data, okay? That analyzes data. Now, this analysis is of 2 types, okay? So that's the best way for me to explain it to you. So we have descriptive analytics, which is what we have here, and we have diagnostic analytics, okay? Don't worry, I know these words are very big and ginormous, and you're here for the first time. What is descriptive analytics? What is diagnostic analytics? Now, let me explain it further in simple questions. So this data professional, they use data, okay, to answer these 2 questions, okay? Number 1, which is descriptive analytics, is what happened, okay? What happened? So every business, okay, is trying to figure out what happened last month, okay? What happened last year as against what is happening this year, okay? What was our total customer? How many customers did we generate this month compared to last month? Okay, in January, we did 5,000 customers. In February, we did 6,000 customers. So you're basically asking the questions, what happened? What was our revenue in January? What was our revenue in February? Okay, what was our revenue in December last year? So you're basically using data to answer the question, what happened? All right. So take, for example, we have a very brief example. So we have this visualization, let's say January, okay? The data analyst will say that, January 2023, we did 4,000 in revenue in January. In February, we did 4,500. All right. In March, we did 5,000. All right. I'm just going to put the K there. Okay. All right. February, March. And in April, let's say we did about $10,000, 10,000 in revenue. Okay. Now, basically, the data analyst is using data to answer this question, what happened? January to April last year, 2023. So we made a revenue of 4,000 in January. We made a revenue of 4,500 in February. We made a revenue of 5,000 in March. And in April, we did 10,000. So you see all those visualization that people post on LinkedIn, they post everywhere, dashboards. Basically, it's answering this question, what happened? So you see a trend, okay? Basically, it's telling the question, that is what happened last year, or that's what happened in that particular period. The visualization is displaying. But now the next question that the data analyst will be using data to answer is, why did it happen? Why did it happen? All right, why did it happen? All right, so that's another question. Now, you see that this one now is more diagnosing the situation. You're trying to diagnose, you're trying to find out the reason why that it happened. Now, looking at this scenario, January you did 4,000, February you did 4.5, March you did 5,000, and in April you did a whooping $10,000. All right. Now that's something that you need to figure out. Why did you make more money? So on average, January to March, on average you've been doing about 4,500, okay, in revenue. But all of a sudden in April, you went from 4,500 on average to $10,000. All right. You need to find out the reason why that happened. You need to, that's what the business is looking for. So if we know why we made $10,000, we can continue to make more money. Essentially, that's the case. So if we know why we made $10,000 last month or the month of April, all right, going into June, April, May, sorry, all right, going into May, all right, we need to deploy those kind of initiatives so that we can make more money in the business, all right? Every business is looking at how they can generate more money or reduce costs, all right? So now the data analyst will be the one to use data to answer this question, all right? Oh, we ran, marketing campaign, okay? We run marketing campaign, and based on the marketing campaign, we're able to generate this number of leads. This number of leads in this particular region, in the Southwest, in the Northwest, in the, in the diaspora, in the this, in the that, you are trying to make sense of why you were able to make $10,000. All right. And essentially, that's where you see a lot of data analysts, building dashboards to answer these critical questions, essentially. All right. To answer these questions as to what happened and why did that particular thing happen? So you can confidently just call them the oracle of any business and that is why they're in demand. Every business cannot be making decisions based on gut feeling, okay? Based on, I think, I feel, no, all right? So every organization now is transitioning to what we call data-driven decision-making. And how do you get to data-driven decision-making? Very simple. You know what happened and you know why it happened based on the business data, all right? Based on the business data. Now, what do you need to learn to succeed for you to get started in data analytics? Very simple. Number one is problem solving. So you see there, when you're answering this question, what happened and why did it happen? You're trying to solve a problem. Okay, it's a problem. Okay, what was our revenue last month? You are trying to answer a problem. Okay, that problem is what did we generate last month? So you need to find out, different sources of revenue for the business. Okay, you might be selling products, you're selling different products, but they're selling them at different prices. There's so many things that comes up together in order for you to get total revenue for last month. All right. Now, as a data analyst, how do you take that question and break it down? How do you break that problem down into smaller pieces for you to understand it better so that you can provide the best answer to that question? All right. 2 questions. What happened and why did it happen? All right. So you are trying to solve problems. Majority of the time as a data analyst is problem solving. So that's why it's an essential skill set of a data analyst to be able to solve problems. All right. Hence the skill set problem solving. So if you go online today and you search for the role of a data analyst, okay, business intelligence analyst and all that, you'll find out that problem solving is like one of the key skills that is needed because you are answering very critical questions that would lead to the management taking off on that decision to make more strategic decisions within the business. So problem solving is an essential skill set of a data analyst. Okay. Now moving on to the next one, Microsoft Excel. Some people will say it's Excel. Some people will say it's Excel. I'm not sure what it is. Please correct me. Is it Excel or Excel? Please put it in the chat. Let me see. Is it Excel or Excel? All right, but pardon me, I joke a lot, okay? So, anyone you call it, if it is Excel, fine, all right? The key thing is Excel is an essential skill set of a data analyst, okay? It's something that everybody uses on a day-to-day. Well, how would you use it as a data analyst is totally different from, how, a regular person that uses it for a day-to-day transaction captures and all that, okay? So this time around, you're using Excel for data analysis, okay? Data visualization, data automation, data visualization, data storytelling, and so on and so forth. So you learn Excel, all right, for data analysis. You would also learn SQL, which is structured query language. This is for, you communicating to databases and getting data from databases and so on, okay? All right. Now, for Power BI, you will learn Power BI, okay? And you learn Tableau. So you see, you're learning the key technologies that you use for data visualization. And that's essentially why you're using visualization is to answer those questions. What happened and why did it happen? So that's why you see a lot of data analysts posting online, dashboard, this is my dashboard on, sales analysis, on sales operations, human resources, it could be anything really, all right? So that dashboard basically is answering those questions that we talked about earlier. All right. Now, data storytelling is another essential skill set of the data analyst, data storytelling. So this is where you are now, you ask you two questions. What happened and why did it happen? The CEO is asking you, tell me what happened last year. What was the revenue? What was our profits and so on and so forth? You're basically trying to answer this question. In order for you to pass across that message to the CEO, you need to tell a story. Okay? All right. You need to use the data to tell a clear story. And that's one key skill set that is essential for a data analyst. Now, you also get to work with AI for analytics, which is ChatGPT. You get to learn how to leverage ChatGPT as a data analyst. Last but not the least, Microsoft Fabrics. So Microsoft Fabrics is likely going to encapsulate, analytics in the next couple of, this year, next year is likely going to encapsulate it in the sense that Microsoft Fabrics is going to be a one-stop shop for analytics in every organization, okay? Now, it's not an essential skill set just yet, and that's where we talk about in demand. All right. So you're learning this not for you to get a job, not to use Fabrics to get a job now. But we're looking at it down the line, okay, in the next 4 months, in the next 5 months, before the end of the year, Microsoft Fabrics is likely going to be the go-to tool for data analysis within majority of the companies across the world. All right. And that's the reason why we're teaching you now, so that, when it becomes an in-demand skill, when it becomes an in-demand requirement for you to get a job as a data analyst, you would have amassed a number of years of, a number of months of experience working with Microsoft Fabrics. And you can even go on to start deploying it for organizations looking to deploy. All right. And those are the beauty of you learning with an organization that is, future thinking. All right. And future proofing the skills that you learn. All right. Now, in terms of timeline, how many months is it going to take you to become a data analyst? It's 4 months. 4 months, okay? 3 months of immersive learning and 1 month of internship. All right, 3 months of learning project-based learning, live classes-based learning, all right, and 1 month of internship. This is where you're going to be working on live projects, and no training wheels, like I mentioned earlier. So you're going to be building projects by yourself and deploying them by yourself, okay? So you're gaining that experience that will get you a head start in when you're getting started. All right. The live classes, like I mentioned earlier, you have the morning and the evening live classes. You only have classes on Saturday. All right. So you only have classes on Saturday. You only have live classes on Saturday. So we have the morning session that is tailored to the guys in Europe, in the UK, and in Africa. Okay. So you have 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. West African time. All right. And we have the evening session that is tailored to the Canada and the US guys, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. West African time. That would translate to 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Now, on Sunday, you are given what we call Watch Me Do It videos, okay? Which is self-paced videos for you to work by yourself, for you to build projects, for you to learn, by your own self. And I'll expatiate this, when we get to more benefit of why you should train with analytics. These self-paced courses or self-paced videos allow you to learn at your own pace. You can go forward, you can go back at your own pace and learn and build projects at your own pace. Okay. And that's what you do on Sunday. So basically, you can go to church, you can do whatever you want to do on Sunday, and also, work on projects at your own pace, at your own time. Okay. And deploy them and use them in your day-to-day life as a data analyst. Okay. Now, the tools you learn, problem solving, Excel, SQL, Power BI, Tableau. You get to work with Microsoft Fabrics and ChatGPT for analytics. So these are the key skills you need to learn in order for you to transition into your desired career as a data analyst. Now, you see, amongst the two, business analysts and data analysts, these are two different career paths entirely. That I know if they might cross paths, they will cross paths, but there are two distinct career paths. Okay. And I hope we are clear on that also. All right. Now, HR analyst, okay? All right. The HR analyst is a very interesting role, and that is basically these are the data professionals in the HR, in the HR space. All right. Now you see that every department, every organization is trying to make what we call data-driven decision making. All right, decision making. All right, data-driven decision making. All right, now within the HR space, okay, how do you make decision based off employee data? How do you come up with information? How do you come up with insight? How do you come up with decision based on employee data? All right. And it's very simple. One very good experience, my own personal experience that I would like to share with you, the importance of HR analytics in any organization. It's very plain and simple. All right. So I worked with this organization, all right, as a data analytics manager, okay, where I was heading the data analytics team. And essentially we did, what we call a succession planning for the organization, okay? And what is succession planning? We did a succession. We first of all analyze people in the organization, how long they've stayed in the organization, and so on and so forth. And from the data, it was clear that we saw that a lot of people, when they get to senior manager, okay, within the organization, when they get to senior manager, they usually resign. Okay, they usually resign and get better jobs in other organization, other competitor organization. All right. So we see from the analysis, initially we never knew, all right, that majority of the people that have resigned in the last 5 years, okay, when they attain a particular level, they usually leave. All right. So it became a trend, and we saw that, okay, how could we, how can we retain people when they get to senior manager level? Okay. And that's what led to another analysis, which we call compensation and benefit analysis. Now, this is not you using, gut feeling. Oh, I think people are leaving the organization. Oh, I think people are leaving because of this. Oh, I think people are leaving because of that. This is you using data to answer these critical questions. All right. So we analyze, first of all, what we call employee data to find out how long people stay in the organization, why people are resigning, where people resign, and so on and so forth. And from this analysis, we're able to deduce that when they get to a particular grade, they resign. And we notice that they usually go to work for competitors, all right? And they earn better money, they earn better compensation, they get better benefits, and so on. So we went on to do what we call compensation and benefit analysis. Okay, from this analysis, we're also able to deduce that comparing it to, benchmarking it to competitors who were we're below average. Okay, we're very bad, but we're below the average level. All right. And that's what we led to us adding more incentive, getting us the right numbers. Okay, not just believing that 5,000 increase or 10,000 increase would sustain people. So what we did was those analysis in order for us to retain people. So from this simple analysis that we did in this organization, it reduced, all right, it reduced turnover, okay, by over 45% in the next 2 years within that same organization. All right. So most people that stay to senior, most people that used to leave, most people that would have left when they get to senior manager level, did not resign anymore based off the analysis and the recommendation, from the analysis that we did. And that's where, data is making HR department more data-driven, more strategic within the business. All right. So these are people that use data analysis to answer HR-related questions within the business. Okay. So you see, you will still learn the stuff, you will still learn all the things you need to learn as a data analyst. Okay. So you'll still learn data analytics like a data analyst. Okay. All right. You will still learn data analytics like a data analyst. You will learn problem solving. You will learn Excel. You will learn Power BI, and you will learn SQL, structured query language. So all the skill sets of a data analyst, you will possess them. You will know how to perform the work of a data analyst. Meaning that down the line, if you say that, okay, HR is not what I want to do, I want to do more data analytics, you will be able to transition, you'll be able to perform that same role effectively. So you learn data analytics like a data analyst. But now what makes you more tailored, laser focused is the HR training that you now get, the HR related projects that you work on. So you're going to work on projects in HR analytics and performance evaluation, HR metrics and life cycle, HR analysis and dashboarding, collaboration and report automation. So you see, when you create reports as an HR analyst, you know, there are some reports that you run every week, every month. Okay. So why do you have to run them manually every month when it can be automated? That's exactly what you'll be learning in collaboration and report automation. So you learn how to collaborate with different stakeholders within the business based on your reports, and you also learn how to automate these reports. Now, the next thing is building your case and creating action. So, like I mentioned earlier, the analysis that we did that saw that when people are taking the management level, they leave. Okay, how do we build a case around that? And how do we present it to the management team in order for us to deploy our initiative? Okay, and that's where you talk about building your case and creating action. And that's what really makes you strategic as an HR professional. Okay, and last but not least, you'd also still learn AI for analytics, which is you leveraging ChatGPT as an HR analyst. Okay, so you see, it covers all areas that you need to learn as an HR analyst. So starting from problem solving, Excel, Power BI, and SQL, which is data inclined, you now take on those data skills to solve problems in the HR space. So you're taking those skills as a data analyst and you're taking it into HR. So you're working with HR analytics and performance evaluation, HR metrics and lifecycle, HR analysis and dashboarding, collaboration and report automation, building your case and creating an action, and ChatGPT for analytics. Okay. Now, the entire learning experience is for 4 months. So 3 months of learning, 3 months of live class learning, and 1 month internship, immersive experience, internship experience that you can put on your CV and showcase to potential recruiters that these are the problems you've worked on, these are the projects you've worked on, these are how you've been able to deploy them, and these are the results from your experience, essentially. So entirely, it's 4 months experience, 4 months learning experience, 3 months of learning, and 1 month of internship. So you have the classes just like the data analytics, all right? You have classes, live classes only on Saturday, okay? So there's live classes that are usually project-based, where you'll be working on a real-life case study, and you'll be deploying them, you'll be creating solutions to this particular problem. So the morning classes, like I mentioned earlier, it's 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. West African time for the guys in Europe, Europe, and Africa. Okay, so 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. West African time. For the guys in Canada, it is 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time for the guys in Canada and the US. And that will basically translate to the evening class for the guys in West Africa, guys in Africa, Europe, UK, and across the world. All right. So whatever time suits you, you can actually take on from there. All right. And on Sunday, you also get the self-paced watch me do it videos, where you can work on projects at your own pace, learn certain techniques, learn certain, fundamentals about HR analytics at your own pace. So Sunday is basically self-paced, while you have your Saturday classes working on real life projects. Okay. Now, financial analytics. Okay. Now, this is the data analyst. This is also the data professional that is more focused on finance. Okay. All right. That's more focused on finance. Now, the beauty about this particular curriculum is it merges 3 career paths together. All right. So if you're an investment banker, I know somebody mentioned about the fact that you're currently an investment banker. So if this career path takes a look at investment banking, okay, all right, combines it with corporate finance, okay, all right, corporate finance, okay, all right, and the last but not the least, like you would all know, it combines it with data analytics, okay, combines it with data analytics, okay, all right. So this career path, financial analytics, combines three career paths together: investment banking, corporate finance, and data analytics. Now, what makes this career path very unique? Okay, what makes it very unique? If you look at every business today, there is no business that doesn't deal with money, okay? That doesn't deal with money, finance, money, inflows and outflows. Money is going out, money is coming inside. Now, the key question now is, how do you make decision? How do you make financial decision? All right. All right. How do you make financial decisions? All right. Based off data. Okay. Not based off anything else, not based on assumption, not based on gut feeling, but based on data. How do you make financial decision based on data? Now, a company is looking to divest. A company is looking to expand its resources, gain market share, gain new markets, enter a new sector. All right. How do they know that business is going to be profitable? What is the financial projection of the business? How do you make those kind of informed decisions based off data? Okay. And that's what makes this very unique. And that's why I said that it combines three career paths together: investment banking, corporate finance, and data analytics. Now, this is not a regular accounting training program. Okay. All right. You are going to be this particular role, is what is replacing typical finance roles, roles out there, accounting roles, and so on. And this is because these professionals are the ones that are using data, financial data, to make informed decision within the business. All right. So let me just walk you through what you need to learn in order for you to get started. Okay. So you see also the key skill over here is data analytics. So you will learn data analytics like the data analyst. Okay. So you learn problem solving, you learn Excel, you learn Power BI, and you'd also learn structured query language, just like the data analyst. Meaning that if you're trying to explore job options, you could work as a data analyst, you could work as a BI analyst, as a business intelligence analyst. But the key thing that makes you different from the regular business or the regular data analyst is the fact that you can use data analytics in finance. Okay. All right. You can use data analytics in finance to come up with financial decision making based off data, based off financial data. All right. So you see, you're going to learn accounting fundamentals, all right? Basics, fundamentals of accounting. You go into financial analysis. This is where you start to use Excel and Power BI, SQL for financial analysis. You would also build financial models, okay? So either existing business models or, new business models, new business venture models. You'll get to work with them, all right? You get to build them by yourself. And I'll show you examples of some of the financial models you will build. Also, you get to work on valuation, sensitivity and scenario analysis, and also you get to leverage ChatGPT for financial analysis. So these are the things that you learn. Like I said, these roles allowed you to work as a data analyst, BI analyst, but what makes you different going through the financial analytics training program is your ability to use data analytics to answer financial questions in different organizations. So you can work as a financial analyst, you can work as a commercial analyst, you can work in financial planning and analysis, you can work in several roles that are developing in finance now that leverages analytics. And that's what makes you different. And that's what makes you sought after because of the skills that you have. All right. The entire learning progress is for 4 months, okay? 3 months of immersive learning, okay? And 1 month of experience, of project-based experience, internship experience, you working with real life, businesses and deploying financial decisions based on financial analysis that you've done. All right. So 3 months of learning and 1 month of immersive internship experience. Now, the timing for this is very similar to that of the HR analytics and also the data analytics, where you have your morning classes and your evening classes. So live classes only exist on You only have live classes on Saturday, and on Sunday you have your self-paced watch me do it videos. Okay, so Saturday you have the classes in the morning for the guys in Europe and in Africa. So 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. West African time. Also for the guys in the evening session, you have, the guys in Canada, the US, that's 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And that's essentially what translates to 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. West African time, which is the evening time for the guys in Africa, okay, and Europe also. So whatever time suits you, you can actually work with it, okay? All right, self-paced watch me do videos. Basically, I've explained that this is where you can work on more financial analysis case study at your own pace, okay? All right, at your own pace, at your own timing, and that's what you can do on Sunday. All right. Now, data science, okay? Data science, a lot of people think the role of a data analyst and a data scientist are, very related to one another, okay? And that's just because data analytics, data scientists, but they're very different roles also, very, very different, very unique roles. And I would explain that using the same technique I used for data analysis, for data analytics, all right? So the data scientist is also answering questions. Okay, these two professionals, they both answer questions. Okay, now they answer questions, but that they are the ones answering questions within the business, and they use data to answer this question. They use data to answer this question. Now, you all know this already. Descriptive analytics. If I should ask you, what questions are you answering with descriptive analytics? Can anybody remember? All right. Can anybody remember what questions are you answering with descriptive analytics? When we talk about descriptive analytics, Domes is saying how? No. Okay. What happened? Christian is saying what happened. So basically, with descriptive, you're trying to describe what happened. Okay, what happened last month, last year, last 5 years, whatever the case may be, what happened. Now, the other one is what? Diagnose, to diagnose the reason. So what are you answering with diagnostic analytics? What are you trying to exactly? Ikena is saying why? Why did that particular thing happen? Okay, why did it happen? Okay. All right. Now, the last one for what makes this the key difference between the data analyst and the data scientist is this question here: predictive analytics. So now, when you say predictive analytics, what do you think the question would be? What do you think would be the question that predictive analytics would be answering? Okay, what do you think the question would be? No, not how. Predictive analytics. Predictive analytics. No, predict. To predict. Predictive analytics. Forecast. Okay, somebody's saying forecast, but I need a question, not just a word. What will happen, Miles? What will happen? What? What will happen? Okay, what will happen? Okay, all right. So you take a look at that, the perfect example I gave earlier. Okay, something happened in January. We did 4,000 in January, 4,000. All right. In February, we did 4.5 thousand. In March, we did 5,000. Okay. And in April, we did what? 10,000. But now, March, April. Okay. So what would happen from May, okay, to December? Okay. What will happen from May till December? Nobody can tell. Okay, so the data scientist would also be able to perform the analysis to answer the question, what happened? So you see data scientists, okay, using tools like Python to do, visualization to answer the question, what happened? So they will also be able to answer that question. All right. They would also be able to answer the question, why did it happen? Why did that particular happen? So why did we move from 5,000 to 10,000? Why this change? Why this movement? What, as a data scientist, you would also be able to answer the question, why did it happen? But now what makes it different? What makes the data scientist different from the data analyst is the ability to predict, into the future, okay? The ability to predict into the future what will eventually happen. So the management team also want to find out. They want to find out. We made 10,000 in April. Are we going to continue on this particular trajectory, from May to December, or is there going to be a decline, or is there going to be an increase, or are we going to maintain it? So prediction is now the in thing that most organizations are looking out for. All right. Take, for example, Apple, Microsoft, I said Apple, yeah, the Apple headset, the Apple Vision Pro headset. Okay. Apple, that's a new product, for example. That's a new product that is coming out. Do you think Apple just decided to produce 10,000 of that product, or 5,000 of that product, or 200 million of that product? How do you think Apple will come up with that number to say that when we launch this particular product, we are going to sell 50,000? All right. There is a there is an analysis they would have done to predict that, on launching this particular product, this is how many of this product we are going to likely sell. So to avoid mass production and underproduction, they do a lot of analysis to find out what's the number of quantity they produce in order for them to match up the demand that they're looking out for. The same thing with every other device, every other organization. So I've worked with quite a number of organizations, and these are the things that you see. For example, a company like Dell, okay, Dell has their own unique way of predicting how many laptops will be produced, that they should produce, or how many parts of a particular laptop should be produced on a month-to-month basis. So you see, every organization is looking for prediction so that to avoid wastage and to avoid proper allocation of resources, they need to know what will happen in the future. Okay? They need to know what will happen. Even you as an individual, tomorrow, if you're going to work on Monday, you're looking at your weather app. If you're in Canada, you're in the US, you're looking at your weather app to know the kind of clothes you need to clean up, to iron, in order for you to prepare for the next thing. So if you, a single individual, you're looking at how can I know what will happen tomorrow so I can plan my day better? If it's going to be a sunny day, I have to take a run in the morning. All right. I have to go to the gym early enough. I can run to the gym if it's not going to be raining, if it's not going to be too, if it's not going to be too cold, I could run in the morning. So you're using that features, you're using that prediction to plan yourself better. Hence the reason why businesses need prediction in order for them to also plan better. Because if I know what my revenue is going to look like in the next 6, 5, 7 months, okay, I can look at strategies to increasing and to improving or finding a way to reverse certain initiatives. So that's what prediction does. And that's what separates the data analyst from the data, and that's what separates the data analyst from the data scientist. Another key thing also you need to understand is the type of data that they deal with. Type of data that they deal with. So the data analyst, okay, will deal with structured data. Okay. All right. Structured data. Okay. So structured data, the data analyst, I'll call them DA, and the DS would also work with this type of data. Okay. So you see anything that is in tabular format, anything in a table format is what we call structured data. Anything in a table format is what we call a structured data table. All right. So if you go on Excel, for example, and you open up Excel, you open up Power BI, you open up Tableau, all the data that you see you're working with are structured data that is already in a table. Basically, they come in columns, okay? All right, columns, okay? And you have your, how do I do? Okay, columns, and you have individual rows, okay? All right, so you have your rows and columns. So basically, that's what we call a structured data. Anything that is a rows and column. So we all play this game where we draw a table, okay? And you have name, animal, place, and thing. And you see you have A, B, C, D, okay? And you draw a table in order for you to structurally align A, animal A, name, A, animal, A, place, and A thing, B, the same thing. So you see everything is structured into columns and individual rows. That's what we call a structured data. So the data analyst and the data scientist will work with what we call structured data. But now what makes the data scientist, a bit more advanced, okay, is the ability for the data scientist to also work with what we call unstructured data. Unstructured data. So basically, these are data that cannot fit into a table. that cannot fit into a table. Very good example is a picture. All right. You see, a picture you can't put a picture in a table. Okay. Same thing as an audio file. You can't put an audio file in a table. You can't put a video in a table. And I'll show you some of the projects that you work on as a data scientist going through the curriculum. All right. So, as a data scientist, you get to work with both structured and unstructured data, whereas the data analyst would only work on structured data, tabular data, while the data scientist will work with pictures, audio, videos, and so on and so forth. Okay. And those are like the key features of the data analyst and the data scientist. Now, what do you need to learn to get started? Okay. Statistics, very important. Okay. So in order for you to do this, your predictions, all right, you're going to be working with what we call statistical models. Okay. So all the machine learning, all the things that you're going to be doing, all right, they're all based off statistics. Now, a lot of people run away from it because they feel like statistics, I didn't do well in statistics in university, in secondary school, but those are the things that, education has created another level of barrier. Okay. Take, for example, mean, median, and mode, measures of central tendency. A lot of people are scared of, a lot of people will not understand why they need to find. Even before I started data science, I never knew the reason why I needed to find the median, most especially median, the middle number. Why do I need to find the middle number of an array of numbers? Why in the world would I need it? All right. So all those things that we felt like we never need to learn, or it was useless, essentially. All right. It's now that we're getting to see the real life application of how to use this. Mean, median, mode, variance, standard deviation. All right. How do you apply it to a business scenario? How do you use it to solve business problems? That's exactly what you're learning in statistics. Real life examples of using statistics to solve critical problems within the business world. Okay. Now, moving on to Excel, you would also learn Excel. But you learn Excel for descriptive, diagnostics, and predictive analytics. So you learn use Excel to build a dashboard, just like the data analyst will be able to build a dashboard. But what makes you different is your ability to use Excel to perform predictions, to predict into the future. All right. Now, the next thing also is Tableau. You would work with Tableau for descriptive, diagnostic, and predictive analytics. You would also work with SQL, Python programming. You would also work with exploratory data analysis. That's when you start to do your univariate, bivariate, and multivariate analysis. All right. You would also work with machine learning, supervised and unsupervised machine learning, computer vision, GitHub for version control. You would also get to work with AI tools like ChatGPT and GitHub Copilot for programming. And last but not the least, you would also work with Microsoft Fabrics for analytics. So you see, this is well compact, well defined to take you through your learning experience of you becoming a data scientist. So you learn statistics, you learn forecasting, predictive analytics using Excel and Tableau. You'd also work with SQL, you work with Python, you work with exploratory data analysis, machine learning, computer vision, GitHub for version control, and so many other things. Now, the learning experience for this, okay? The learning experience for this is now where you would 4 months of learning experience, 3 months of learning, and 1 month internship. All right, 3 months of learning and 1 month of internship. Okay, so the live classes, like I mentioned earlier, very similar to that of data analytics. So you have your live classes on Saturday. Okay, only on Saturday you have live classes, project-based live classes. Morning session is between 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. West African time, and that applies to guys in Europe, UK, and in Africa. Okay, anywhere you are in Africa, essentially. Evening session is 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. West African time. All right, that would translate to 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time for the guys in Canada and the US. So if you're in Canada or the US, all right, this time is what applies to you. 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. You can always change it to your Eastern Standard Time or whatever time zone you find yourself. All right. So you see, and on Sunday you have project-based classes, like self-paced project classes where you can learn by yourself. You get the self-paced videos where you can work on projects. get to understand more certain concepts about data science a lot more better at your own pace, okay? And that's really just allows you to move at your own pace rather than the class pace, which can be a bit, you have fast learners, you have slow learners in the live classes. So the self-paced classes basically allows you to move at your own pace, all right? All right, so that's exactly what you're going to be doing. The tools you learn: statistics, Excel, Tableau, SQL, Python, machine learning, Microsoft Fabric, ChatGPT, and GitHub Copilot, okay, for analytics. So you see, these are the things you will learn in data science. Data engineering, we're almost getting to the tail end. I'll just move up a little bit faster so that we can actually close in time. I said I was going to do it within 1 hour. We're almost heading towards 1 hour. All right. So data engineering essentially allows you to just move data. This is a professional that we also regard to as a plumber because they build what we call pipelines. Okay. All right. So essentially, I'm just going to create a very quick example. Let's just assume, let me just pick somebody's names here, somebody's name. Let's say Abayomi. Okay. Abayomi. Okay. Abayomi is selling gadgets online. Okay. All right. Gadgets online. Okay. So Abayomi is selling on Instagram, Insta. Okay. All right. Abayomi also is selling on TikTok. Okay. And Abayomi also sells on his website. He has a website. Okay. All right. All right. So at the end of 2023, okay, Abayomi wants to find out what channel, okay, all right, what channel made the most revenue? The most revenue. That's the question. Pardon my writing. I'm writing on my screen. So, all right. So at the end of 2023, okay, all right, Abayomi wants to find out what channel, Instagram, TikTok, websites, what channel made me the most revenue. Okay. But you see, the sales on Instagram get stored on Instagram. The sales from TikTok get stored on TikTok. The sales from the website get stored on the website. So you see, the storage where these things are being stored are all in 3 different data sources. Okay, 3 different data sources. One is on Instagram, the other one is on TikTok, the other one sales transactions are on the website. But now, this guy, Abayomi wants to find out what channel made the most revenue. So the key thing, what makes the data engineer very vast with why they've become in demand in the industry is the ability to drive this data into a central location. So what the data engineer will do, okay, is to build what we call ETL pipeline. E stands for extract, T stands for transform, okay, and L stands for load. So basically, you have 3 data sources, all right? You have 3 data sources: Instagram, TikTok, and the website. So now we need all the data from all these 3 channels in one central location, all right, which is what we call a data warehouse, okay? Now the data engineer will do what we call extract. Well, first of all, extract the data, okay? Then do what we call transformation. So this transformation basically is data cleaning, all right? Data cleaning, and eventually we'll load the data into the data warehouse, okay? So the same thing we'll do for TikTok: take the data, extract the data, transform the data, and load it into the data warehouse. The same from the website, we'll perform the same activity: extract the data, transform the data, and load it into the data warehouse. So now, rather than dealing with 3 sources, the data analyst and the data scientist will only need to deal with 1 location, all right? So rather than dealing with 3 different data sources, the data analyst and the data scientist will deal with only 1 data source, repository, which is the data warehouse. So the data engineer is the person that builds this pipeline, this ETL pipeline. Is the data engineer that will build the pipeline that would extract, transform and load data into this data warehouse that would be used by the data analyst and the data scientist. Okay, so you see when we talked about descriptive diagnostics and predictive analytics, all right, in order for these professional data analysts and data scientists, for them to do the analysis, they need data. Who makes this data available for them? The data engineer. All right. So it's a data engineer that would move data across different locations within the business and makes it available for the data analyst and the data scientist. So essentially, that's the role of the data engineer. What do you need to learn? You need to start from the basics, introduction to data engineering, where you understand what is database, what is data warehouse, what is data lake, what's the difference between OLAP and OLTP, online transactional processing versus online analytical processing. What's the difference between, what's big data, and so many other concepts that you need to understand. Okay, you move into SQL, you also get to learn SQL, you also get to learn Python. All right, you learn, these are the key technologies that you need to learn anyways. You'd also learn Linux for batch commands or batch scripting. Okay, you also get to build the ETL pipeline I talked to you about. Now, working with ETL pipelines, you get to work with database. You'll get to learn how to extract the data from a database into another data source. All right, you get to work with APIs, all right, extracting data from the true APIs, through web scraping, and so on and so forth. Okay. Apache Spark, also you get to work with Apache Spark, Apache Airflow, you get to work with AWS Cloud Engineering. Okay, so you can work as an AWS Cloud Engineer at the end of this training program. You also get to work with GitHub for version control, and you also get to work with AI tools like ChatGPT and GitHub Copilot for programming. So end to end, this is, a perfect curriculum that will start you as a beginner and take you into that intermediate advanced level in order for you to transition into your desired role as a data engineer. All right. The entire learning process for this is for 5 months, 5 solid months. Okay, where you have 3 months of learning, live class learning, and you have 2 months of internship experience. 2 months of internship experience. Now, you also have you only have 1 live class, okay, for the data engineering training program. You have live classes only on Saturday, for the morning/evening session for the guys in West Africa, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Okay, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. That will translate to the morning time for the guys in Mountain Standard Time, for the guys in Canada, and the guys in the US. So it's between 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. So every Saturday between 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. West African time, and every Saturday 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. So you have everybody in the same class together. Then Sunday, you get your self-paced material for you to work at your own pace, okay, for you to learn at your own pace. So that's the Sunday classes. So you're not overwhelmed with live classes. You have time to breathe for you to work on projects at your own pace. And these videos I'm going to show you very intuitive, very useful for you to grow in your learning process. So like I mentioned, 5 months, 3 months of learning, 2 months of internship, okay, immersive internship. All right, you have your Saturday live classes and you have your Sunday for self-paced, materials, okay? Self-paced training program, okay? Now, Scrum Master is a very essential. This is one of the best career path, one of the most interesting and fastest way you can transition into the tech space. Okay. And the best way for me to explain this is using applications like Instagram. Okay. Instagram. Okay. Or better still, okay, if you're using any Android device, okay, if you're using any Android device or you're using any Microsoft, okay, all right, application, or you're using any application in world right now, these are the ones that that we can all resonate with. Even the guys in iOS, okay, the guys using iOS, the same thing, every application that we see out there, okay, you now notice that you get regular updates on your phone, okay? You get what? Regular updates. Most especially, the reason why I'm using it is Instagram, okay? Instagram, today you go on Instagram, the share button is by the top left, okay? In the evening, by evening time, or by the next day, Tomorrow, the share button that was used to be on the top right corner has gone. It's not there anymore. It's now you have to click on one button in order for you to see the share button. You see all these updates that are coming in on a daily, weekly basis. Okay, what do you think? What do you think is fast tracking these changes within the application? All right. Do you think it's something that they're just coming up intuitively? Oh, let's change it, and they go ahead to change it? Absolutely not. So you see, in order for them to move fast with those changes, in order for them to be able to deploy these changes very fast, that's where the Scrum Master comes in. Okay, that's where the Scrum Master comes in. So before the waterfall methodology, waterfall methodology, I'm going to be very fast with this. Waterfall methodology, and that's what we are all used to, me and you. Okay, that's what we grew up with. Okay, all right. You have to start from A. You have to go all through the way to Z in order for you to deploy. All right, in order for you to deploy. So meaning that you have to start with planning first. You use like 2 months to plan. All right, you use another month to design. Okay, all right. All right, you use another month to test, okay, maybe to develop, okay, all right. You use another month to do what? To, let's say, to test actually, okay. Then you now deploy. So you see this typical process, waterfall methodology, usually takes about a year, okay. Usually takes about 1 year to get it done in order for you to deploy a new service, okay. And that's what you see before. Microsoft, you see Microsoft 98, Microsoft 97, Microsoft 2000, Windows, you have different new, and it's coming almost every year. It comes in on a yearly basis. Now, and that's because they were using waterfall before. They will plan, they will design, they will develop, then they will test, then they will deploy. Usually it takes like 1 year in order for you to get your prototype, okay, your application to the public. But now, what has happened to replace this is Scrum. Scrum, okay? How can we do this? Rather than doing it in 1 year, how can we do it in less, let's say less in 1 month, okay? All right, between 4 weeks, okay? How can we achieve, the projects that we want to do? How can we achieve it in 1 month, okay? So now this is not you working on the entire project, okay? It's not you building end-to-end projects or end-to-end application within a month. No, it's basically taking it one feature at a time. All right, this is you taking it one feature at a time. And these are things that we'll go on talking about in the future. This is basically when they call the feature, they call it product backlog. That's what the Scrum Master we call a product backlog. Okay, so basically, if you want to, backlog. Sorry, this my pen could be acting up. Okay, they call it these features product backlog. So basically, if you want to build a website, the website should have homepage, should have the homepage, okay, should have about us page, should have a dashboard, a user dashboard, okay, all right, should have several features, should have different features. So this feature is what we call a product backlog. So in order for us to deploy, we don't need to have everything. We don't need to have gone through everything in order for us to deploy our products. Okay, we can start with one feature, one product backlog. Okay, and we complete it within a month. So all this iteration, plan, design, develop, test, rather than doing it for everything at the same time, we'll take one product feature, okay, which is the home page of the website, okay, and run through the planning, the designing, the development, and the testing within 1 month. Okay, we do that, we move on to the next one, and this is what we call sprint planning. This is what we call, sprint backlogs, and we'll talk about all these things when we get to talk about the artifacts, the ceremonies, and all these things. Okay, so basically, that's exactly what the Scrum Master is doing. So how do we break down processes? How do we break down product features, product backlogs, okay, of a particular product, essentially, okay? And how do we fast track it? How do we get it done faster? How do we get it done more efficiently than the former methodology, which is the waterfall methodology? How do we translate from waterfall to Scrum methodology. Now, the Scrum Master is this person that allows you to do this faster and more efficiently. So this is a month, okay? So what do you need to learn? You need to understand introduction to Scrum, understand what we just talked about in a more detailed, more, intuitive manner, rather than just this fast method that I just explained to you. Introduction to Scrum methodology. You talk about the Scrum team, which focuses on the product owner, the Scrum Master, and the team members. Okay, we'll talk more about that. You talk about the artifact, which is talking about product backlogs, sprint backlogs, and burn down charts. So we'll talk about that, during the training program. And last but not the least, you talk about ceremonies. Okay, so you have the Scrum team, the artifact, and ceremonies, in which you're talking about sprint planning, daily Scrum, and sprint review. Okay. Now, daily artifacts, incremental, and sprint backlogs. We talk about Scrum events. You talk about Nexus Scaled Scrum, and you also get to prepare for the PSM examination. Okay. Now, this timeline for you learning all this is within 2 months. Okay. 2 months of learning, 2 months learning experience. So 1 month of learning and 1 month internship experience. Okay, so this is one of the fastest ways you can actually transition into the tech space. And one way you could actually do this also to research is just go online and search for Scrum Master roles, and you see how in demand they are looking for these professionals. Okay, so you have classes Saturday and Sunday. So the time for this is only West African time. So we have 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. West African time, and you have on Sunday live class 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. West African time. So as long as you can work with it, you can register for this particular curriculum and get you started. Okay. All right. Now, cybersecurity, which is the last one we're going to be talking about today. Okay. Cybersecurity, I usually use my own personal experience. Individual, just one person. All right, just one person. I had a friend of mine. I'm going to call him Ade. Okay, I'm going to call him Ade. Ade's WhatsApp was hacked. Okay, his WhatsApp, just one individual. His WhatsApp was hacked. Okay, so an external individual, I'll call this person hacker. Okay, hacked my guy's WhatsApp. Okay, all right. So from this WhatsApp they hacked, they were able to scam, about 5 of his friends. They were able to scam about 5 of his friends. Okay. Now, this total amount, let's just say about $200, were scammed from 5 people. I was one of the people that got scammed, but that got, that was a victim of the scam. So the guy sent me a message, hello, my guy, Alpha, I'm waiting this up. What's happening? All right, I need this certain amount of money because, I'm trying to do this transaction, but I've hit my limit for the day. Please, can you help me, send this money to this person and I'll refund you the next day. Simple, it's my friend. I trust him. And that's the reason why I would send him the money. So I sent him the money, but it was a scam. It was an intruder disguising as a friend of mine. And I was able to send the person money and never knew that it was a scam all true. Now, this is just one single individual that was hacked and was able to scam 5 friends, and they were able to part away with $200. This is just a single individual. Now imagine this hacker is able to, hack into all of WhatsApp, and they're able to get about 1 million people. Okay, do you think the impact of that 1 million hacks? Okay, what will be it's likely going to be going to 2 million plus, in terms of scam. Okay, in terms of loss they're going to do. Now, a very perfect example that can resonate with us is Patricia. Okay, all right. Patricia's news is all over the internet, whereby they were hacked and certain Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies were diverted to different accounts across the world. That's the impact of cyber threats. That's the impact of cyber threats on your business itself. So you see, all these things are what makes cybersecurity in demand, a high demand skill. Because if an individual is hacked, just one person on Instagram or on WhatsApp is hacked and can actually scam to the tune of or to a loss of $200. All right. Imagine what they would do if they have more personal information, being hacked. And that's what cybersecurity is all trying to prevent in any organization. So in order for you to become a cybersecurity analyst, you'll need to learn Introduction to Cybersecurity, Computing and Network Fundamentals, Information Security Principles, Offensive and Defensive Cybersecurity. So you, as a cybersecurity analyst, you will be the one to build, okay? You would also need to test, build offensive and defensive cybersecurity systems around the business. All right. Cryptography basics. That's where if you go on Instagram, or say Instagram, on WhatsApp, I like using WhatsApp because they have very high levels encryption. So if you go on WhatsApp, you would see end-to-end encryption. So basically what that means and that's where cryptography comes in play. Okay. When you send a text message to a friend of yours, all right, you have two people, person A and person B. So if a Mena is sending Adeza a message, okay, on WhatsApp. So this message is going from A to B, okay? All right, and that's what you call the end-to-end encryption, end-to-end encryption. So meaning that if somebody comes in, let's say an hacker, okay, another hacker is here trying to intercept the message I'm sending to Adeza, all right? If the person gets hold of the message, okay, the person will not be able to understand. The person will not be able to understand the message I sent. It will be encrypted, essentially, all right? So it's only when it gets to Adeza, all right, that the message will become readable, okay, will become readable. So basically that's cryptography. You've been able to use what we call ciphers to be able to, disguise information from one place to the other. So a very interesting concept, very interesting things that you need to learn. All right. Essentially, you also get to work with cyber threats, attack vectors, network security, endpoint security, web and application security, cloud security. So you see everybody's transitioning to the cloud now. All right. You would also get to work with cloud security, incident reports, and forensics. Okay, cybersecurity and policies and compliance. So all these things together, you learn them in the space of 4 months. Okay, 4 months, 3 months live classes learning, and 1 month internship experience. 1 month internship experience. So Saturday live classes is between 11 to 2 p.m. West African time, and on Sunday it is 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. West African time. And these are some of the tools you get to work with: VMshark, Wireshark, Metasploit, Linux. You get to work with Python and so on and so forth. So that's cybersecurity. Now, you'll notice that all our programs come with free internship. Free internship, you're not paying a dime for it. And the reason why you're learning this internship, gaining this internship experience is very simple. You get to build more hands-on experience. You get to work on more detailed projects in order for you to get started, and you can leverage this experience in your transitioning, story. So, you could add an internship experience to your CV. So a lot of people out there are looking to transition, but the main problem they have is, oh, I want hands-on experience. And that's why you see a lot of people asking for, I can't honestly count how many people that are asking for, can I work with you for free internship? Now, the reason why we embedded this in there is for you to avoid that free internship mentality. All right. So you get that internship, you work on the project, you can actually leverage it. You can claim work experience from Tenalytics. So you can tell a potential recruiters that I'm currently working with Tenalytics, and these are the things that I've worked on. These are the projects I've worked on, and this is how it has been of impact to you, the business itself. All right. So you see 1 to 2 months of internship experience, hands-on internship experience, no training wheels. So rather than the live classes where you have an instructor that is leading you, this time around, you'll be the one to lead yourself, all right, with guidance anyways, you will still get the guidance that you need in order for you to succeed, all right? So on average, you work on 6 additional real-life projects in order for you to gain that confidence that you want. And last but not the least, project review with an expert. Project review with an expert. So all these things are what we have infused together in order for you to gain that experience that you need in order for you to transition into your desired career paths. Now, why should you train with Tenalytics? Why should you train with us? All right, feeding off our success from last year, okay, and the last 3 years that we've been in operation, we've had phenomenal achievement in helping people get the jobs that they desire. So in the last 3 years plus now, Okay, we've helped over 2,000 plus people. And if you don't doubt it, we have enough evidence to prove that. We've been in the dailies, we've been on the internet, you can check out our YouTube page, you'll see a lot of people giving their testimonials on how they transition. I did shared some of them with you already. All right. And it's not just within the UK, it's not just within Canada, it's literally across the world. We have people getting jobs in Dubai, in UAE, in Norway, in Germany, literally across the world. All right. Now, secondly, is industry standard facilitators and curriculum. So you see the curriculum that we've designed is, used even from the business analysis all the way to cybersecurity. You'll find out that these curriculums are up to date. So the business analysis, for example, you're learning not just data analytics, you're also learning AI for analytics. And that's the same thing you learn with data analytics. Data analytics, you've infused Microsoft Fabrics, we've infused AI in order for you to stay in tune with the industry. And that's the same thing you get from all the curriculum. All right. So you also get that industry standard facilitators, people that have wealth of experience also teaching you. Okay. Number three is blended training to accommodate every learning type. So people learn at different paces. We have, people that learn fast and people that learn slow. So the key thing is how do we cater to these people? All right. And that's where we have the live classes and the watch me do it videos. So basically you can learn at your own pace and you'd also get a real life classes in order for people to learn with you. All right. Last but not the least, tailored session to position you for success in landing your dream job. So these sessions basically are, what we'll talk about in the next few seconds. So, there is more. How do we position you for success in the job market? So essentially, these are additional employability services that we render for free in order for you to get started. Now, these are broken down into levels. Number one is linked CV review. So this is where we help you revamp your CV. Okay, we help you revamp your CV. So earlier on during the session, people were asking, if I don't have experience, how do I get started? This is exactly what we do for you for free. Okay, we help you to review your CV and make it more ATS compliant. Okay, so you're in the UK, you're in Germany, you're in France, you're in any part of the country. All right. How do you make your CV compliant to the ATS, systems within your region and make them, approvable whenever you apply, you get, that result that you're looking for. You get that reduction in your rejection emails. Okay. Now we also talk about LinkedIn optimization. We help you optimize your LinkedIn profile so that whenever you apply for a role, you're top of the list whenever you apply. Also, whenever a recruiter is searching for a particular skill set, you would also appear as some of the top searches. Okay. So meaning that it just works like search engine optimization. Whenever you search on Google, you usually get, the best results. Those are the first that you get from LinkedIn optimization. Also, we work on Upwork. Upwork is a freelance platform that allows you to work freelance. Okay. So it would also help you optimize your Upwork profile in order for you to get gigs as a freelancer in any of the career paths that we have there. All right. Navigating the job market. How do you navigate the job market? How do you move from, how do you apply for a job? Where do you apply for these jobs? How do you get remote jobs? How do you get fully, sponsored jobs? And all these things. These are the things that we'll do during the navigating the job market sessions. Would also help you with job and interview preparation. So if you have a good CV, you have a good LinkedIn profile, you know how to navigate the job market, you would likely get interviews. And this is where we come in to help you prepare for those interviews. All right. So we help you prepare, we help you get started. Number 6 is recommendation and reference letter, where we write you the best recommendation letter. Majority of the recruiters are looking for people that have experience. Okay. Now, if you're currently a customer service, or you're working in customer service, or you're working in a warehouse, and you apply for a job as a data analyst, for example, you're likely going to get a rejection because your current role and where you're going into don't match. So this is where Tenalytics comes in. So you can claim work experience from Tenalytics and leverage that in your application process and even your recommendation process. So whenever they ask you to provide reference from your previous place of work, we will stand in for you to get you that recommendation letter. So you will write you the best. And I will tell you for free that that's one of the major reasons why a lot of our people have been able to transition into their desired career paths. Level 2 is mentorship sessions where we bring in experts in the industry to guide you, guide and nurture you into your desired career. Then we have on-the-job support that allows you to once you get a job, provides you with training wheels, all right, so that you can run by yourself when the time comes. So a lot of people are not confident when they get a job. So essentially what we do is provide you with on-the-job support so that when you get the job, you would be able to, get on with yourself. All right. So last but not the least is the new initiative that we're putting on to plate this year, which is guaranteed job interviews. Okay, so we are guaranteed you job interviews. If you're in the US, you're in Canada, you are in the UK, you're anywhere in Europe, we are going to be guaranteeing you interviews 1 month after completing your training with us. All right, and I will tell you how we are going to be able to achieve this. All right. So we have new initiatives that are deployed this year. Number one is the Body Mentorship Hub. So I mentioned earlier that we have a ton of people that have gotten jobs in the last 3 years. Africans in different parts of the world that have gotten jobs in the last 3 years. And they're coming back to say that Tenalytics, you helped me get my dream job. I want to help other Africans in other different countries of the world get their own dream job. Okay. So we are getting body mentorship, okay, for people that have gone through Tenalytics, have gotten jobs, coming back to an OG also to get your own jobs. So that's exactly what we call the Body Mentorship Hub, where we can get where you can get mentors from people that have gone through Tenalytics and are going through the same thing that they've gone through the same thing that you're currently going through and get you started in your desired career path. Number 2, enhanced internship experience. So I talked more about that already. The internship experience, this is where you gain hands-on experience that you need in order for you to get started. Number 3, this is where we build partnership with recruitment agencies in the UK, Canada, and the US, and other countries of the world. And essentially, we are also building our own job pipeline, okay? Where we are building our own job pipeline. So we have recruiters that we have secured partnerships with, and some of them are still currently in discussion on how we can, secure this partnership. All right. So we have recruitment agencies, okay, and we have Tenalytics students. All right. So once you finish your training program, these guys are always posting jobs. All right. And what we're doing now is to build a pipeline where we can recommend our participants to these jobs. Hence the reason why we are guaranteeing interviews. All right. I would also prepare you for these interviews. So it's not like we're going to leave you hanging, just recommend you, and that's the end. We would also, recommend, follow up, and also, perform all the things that we need to do, polish you up for the interview in order for you to get the job eventually. All right. So that's what we're doing this year. And that draws back to the main reason why we are doing all this. How do we get more Africans? How do we get more people into the tech space? All right, people that are currently struggling and trying to see how they can change their career path. This is exactly why we have designed this methodology. And this is the reason why we took our time to explain all the things that you need to learn, all the things that you need to know, all the misconception in order for you to get started. So our next cohort is going to be starting on the 2nd of March, 2024. That is just in about 2 weeks' time. Okay, so if you're looking to get started, this is the best opportunity for you to start. Okay. Now we have an early bird discount currently running for the first 20 people that will register for this program. Okay, the first 20 people to register for each of the program. We have an early bird discount. All right. So you see here, we have the full amount, the actual cost of the training program. Over here, we have the discounted amount. Okay. Now, the full amount for if you're going to, if you're interested in data analytics, business analysis, HR analytics, financial analytics, and data science. If you're interested in any of these 5 career paths, data analytics, business analysis, HR analytics, financial analytics, data science, the full amount is $750 or £625 equivalent. But now, this is what we are recommending. This is the recommendation. This is what we are recommending. This is what you need to pay now. But it's only available for the first 20 people, which is an early bird discount, people to register early enough. So you can take advantage of this discounted amount. So rather than you paying a full amount of $750, you could actually pay $600 or £500 equivalent. Now, the discounted amount, the discount is not the only thing you enjoy. The discount also gives you the opportunity to pay in 2 installments. So you're not paying this full amount, $750 at once. You could actually pay $600 or £500 in 2 installments. This is the advantage of you taking advantage of the discounted amount. So rather than you paying $600 in full, you could actually pay in 2 installments. So first payment is $450 and the second payment is $150. Now, guess what? The second payment comes 1 month into the training program. 1 month into the training program. 1 month into the training program. All right. So balance payment comes, the second payment after 1 month into the training program. So all you need to do now is to secure a position with the first payment that you have here, either $450 or £375 equivalent. Now, if you're looking to get into data engineering or cybersecurity, all right, the full amount is $900 or £750 equivalent. Now, the discounted amount, like we mentioned, you are getting a whooping, discount. So you're going to pay $750 or £625 equivalent and allows you to pay in 2 installments. All right. So rather than you pay £750 or $750 in full, you can actually pay 2 installments of $550 and $200 or £460 and £165 equivalent. So this allows you to pay in 2 installments. All you need to do to secure your position now is to pay the first payment in order for you to get started. Now, the Scrum Master also a different price. So the full amount for the Scrum Master is $450, or you could pay the pound equivalent of £375, and you could pay in 2 installments if you go with the discounted amount. So rather than you paying $450 or $375, you could actually pay $350, pay in 2 installments of $250 and $100, or £200 and £95 equivalent. So you see, everything here has been designed for your consumption, for you to take advantage of. So you see, all you need to do is to secure a position with the discounted amount, which allows you to pay in 2 installments. Is that not wonderful? All right, which allows you to pay in 2 installments. So all you need to do now is to make payments, based on your region. All you need to do is click on this link. All right, the link in the chat. You see my colleague Elijah is currently doing that, posting it on the group chat. All right, so all you need to do is click on this link. All right, click on the link and it's going to take you to this page, which is the Tenalytics Enrollment Center. It takes you to this Tenalytics Enrollment Center. All right, so essentially, once you get to this page, you can make your payment, you can make your deposit. All right, so the first thing you see here is Tenalytics Enrollment Center, which is you see the first button here is get access to all program brochures. Get access to all program brochures. So if I click on this, it takes me to a new page that talks about all the programs in there. Okay, so you see all the programs. So if you're interested in business analysis, you can double click on it and you can see a detailed run through of what the data and business analysis training program entails. All right, so from start, you see here, over 40% of projects fail due to lack of planning. All right, are you ready to become a master business analyst? So all the things that you need to know about business analysis is entailed in the brochure. So all the things, so Power BI, what would you learn in Excel? What would you learn in Power BI? What would you learn in SQL? Moving all the way to project initiation planning, all right, the role of a business analyst, understanding the business objective, so on. Agile Essential, what would you learn there? You see everything given you in detail, all right? The same thing with data analytics. Also, the brochure gives you a detailed run through of what you need to learn, all you need to learn, all you need to do in order for you to get started. HR analytics, the same thing, everything. You have the program brochures that gives you detailed explanation, detailed curriculum of all the things you learn in each of the courses that you'll be taking. All right. And that's all you need to do. All right. So in order for you to get access, all you need to do is just click here, all right, to get access to all the program brochures. Okay. Now, moving on to the next one. All right. Once you want to make payments, all you need to do is move down here. You'll see initial and full payments. Okay. And you see a list of all the courses that we talked about today. Now, bear in mind that the discount is only available for the first 20 people. The discount is only available for the first 20 people. Now, I'm going to start with the data engineering, for example, and I'll come back to use another course and I'll use the data analytics or business analyst as another course. So I'm going to start with the data engineering. Take, for example, you're interested in data engineering and you want to secure your space, all right? Click on data engineering, all right? And it's going to take you to this particular space, to this particular page. Now, this is how you know that the discount amount is what you pay. All right. This is how you know the discount. A lot of people be asking, how do you know where we have exceeded 20 people? Very simple. So you see, the suggested price will give you the discounted amount. So currently, the current price there is $625 for data engineering. So if I go back to and I show you the current price, the discounted amount for data engineering, you'll find out it is £625. Okay, you'll notice that it is £625. So once this amount changes to $750, you know that the discount slot has been exhausted. Okay, and you have to pay yourself $50 in full. All right, no discount, no discount. So now, for you that are looking to getting started, all you need to secure your position is $460. £460, I mean, £460. And you see it here, all right? £460. Now, the minimum amount you could pay is $350. The minimum amount you could pay is $350. So, in order for you to get started, if currently you have £400, all right, you don't have up to 460. Let's say you have 400, okay, you can actually pay the 400, okay, and the remaining 60 you can balance it before the training program starts. All right, but at this rate, you securing your position at £400 means that you can actually pay the discount amount. All right, that secures your slot in the discount amount. And the system, which is this application, the Mainstack application, will take that will register you as part of the beneficiaries of the discount amount. So all you need to do is just to secure a position is to pay the first payment. So either to pay 460, all right, and reserve your seat. Okay, pay 460 and reserve your seat. If you want to pay it in full, which is 675, you can actually change it to 625 and pay it in full. Okay, I know that there is no balance payments, you have secure your position, you don't need any second installment whatsoever. And that's the same thing with every other course that we have there. Business analysis, if I click on business analysis, it takes me to the business analysis payment page. All right, and you see for this, it is what? £500. So that's when you look at it, it is also £500, which is the discount amount. Now, when this money changed from £500 to £625, you know that this particular discount slot has been exhausted. Okay, so in order for you to take advantage of this, all you need to do is also put in the first payment. If you want to make the first payment, if you don't want to make the full payment, you can actually make the first payment of £375. All right, and proceed to pay. All right, put in your name, your email, your phone number, desirable. I think your WhatsApp number desirable, so that we can reach out to you for international guys and all that. And you can pay by your card using your debit card, your credit card, whatever the case might be. All right. And that's the case. And that's the same thing for all the courses that we have there, including the Scrum Master. The Scrum Master's price is a bit different from what we have there. So the discount amount you see there is £295 or $350 equivalent. And you see it here, pounds is $295. All right. And that's based off my region. So depending on your region, you will see the price based on your region. I see people sending me questions around price in Naira, price in Ghana cedis, and so on and so forth. So once you click on the link, it will show you the price based on your region. the equivalent based on your region. So you're in Australia, you see it in the Australian dollars. If you're in Canada, you see it in CAD. You see the prices based on your region. All right. So once you want to make the deposit, so now 200 is what you need, all right, in order for you to register for Scrum Master. All right. So you can just put in the £200 and reserve a seat. You can easily just reserve your seat for the Scrum Master program. Okay. And that's basically all you need to do. Once you've made payments, you've completed your payments. Bear in mind, like I mentioned, once you click on the link for the course or your desired course, and you see that the price is matching the full amount price, it basically indicates that the first 20 people has been exhausted and you have to pay the full amount without instrumental payment. No instrumental payment for the full amount. All right. And that's the reason why we're telling you now to take advantage of the discount amount, because it also allows you enjoy the discount, which is the first thing. The second thing is also you're allowed to pay in installments, all right, and you can actually take it on from there. All right, somebody's asking the question, how many students per cohort? All right, we've already clearly told you that it's 20 people, all right, but we accept more people, all right, and we have a structured learning approach to accommodate as much people as we can, all right, but the discount that we're running at the moment is for the first 20 people, all right, so if you want to take advantage of it, please take advantage of it now, all right, if at least, like I mentioned, if you don't have the full amount, you can actually pay, you can pay what you have in order for you to get started. All right, take for example the data science, for example, for USD, if you want to pay in USD, all right. So data science currently is $600. First payment is $450, meaning that I can, if I have $350, all right, I can actually use that to secure my discount. And before the training program starts, okay, I'll balance $100 in order to make it $450. Okay, so you have enough time. You have about 2 weeks in order for you to pay the balance, in order for you to get started. All right, but you would have secured your discounted slot. So please, to avoid late payments, please secure your discount now. All right. So, anyways, we'll be taking a couple of questions. We'll be here to take questions, take your concerns, any questions that you have, and anything that you need in order for you to get started. All right. So without wasting too much time, I'm also going to show you, Adeza, do you want to walk us through the platform, or do you want me to go ahead to do it?
All right, let me just do that very quickly. So I'll show you what the platform looks like. For those of you that would be joining the program, the moment you join, how exactly do you learn with us? Okay, so I'll show you that very quickly. If you please, can you see my screen now?
Yes, I can.
All right. So, of course, when you register, you get onboarded into the platform where all your materials, all your class recordings, every single thing that you need for the class would be in this classroom. So, of course, we've had a cohort that commenced on the 6th of January. We had a cohort that commenced in February as well. And then we have a new cohort that would also start on the 2nd of March. The February cohort started on the 3rd of February. So now let's look at the January cohort and let's see what they've done so far. Let's check, let's see the full stack data science or any other one. Let's look at the business analysis, for example. Okay, the cohorts that started in January, and you can see you have two classes, the EU and the NA. So the EU for Europe, Africa, similar time zones, and North America for the US, for Canada, so that you have a class that fits into your time zone. Okay, so let's open one of the classes and see what it looks like and just walk you through very quickly. Okay, sorry about that. So the moment you get into class, some of the first things you'd see in class includes, we have a consistency project that you get to join. Everybody joins the consistency project. And this is where you would be posting things you learn from day one to the moment you complete the program. So that's what you have here, the consistency project. You also have the job application tracker. Now, for those of you who would be applying to jobs almost immediately, and for every other participant, it's also very important that you track your job application. I talked about that earlier and how important the job application process is. So on a day-to-day basis, you need to see where you are with regards to your job application. So there's a tracker that you would use to see your progress with regards to your job application. You have the interview prep, you have an interview coming up, you have somebody that will work with you, help you prepare for that interview. All you need to do is come to the link, and everybody in this program would have access to this, okay? You go to your interview prep and you can schedule a session. All you have to do is click on the link, all right? It takes you to a Calendly. You enter the dates and the time that fits into your time, preferred time, and then you have somebody work with you to prepare you for that interview. I talked about the CV and how important it is. So you have a BA CV template. So for every single program, data analytics, you have a template that you would use after you've gone through all your CV sessions. So you have a template, standard templates that you'd use to structure your own CV before you start job applications. And of course, you need to apply to jobs. Practically, every Thursday when you have your mentorship sessions and Friday, would walk you through how to apply to jobs, because that's the fundamental objective of you being in this program. And you'd also have multiple job links in here of where to apply to all these different jobs, okay? Now, let's go right to the very beginning of the program itself. So as a business analyst, you start with the data analytics modules, like Ifemena had explained. You start with Excel, you move to Power BI, you move to SQL, and then you move into the core aspects or the core areas of business analysis. Now, when we say your classes are project-based, this is what we mean. You look at the very first class you have on Excel. You have your login details, the class materials, the class recording. So even if you miss this class for any reason, you had a busy weekend, you had a commitment that you didn't plan for over the weekend, and you missed the class, the recording is available for you. All you have to do is come in here, click on the link, and you have access to the class recording. Okay, you just click on play, it takes you into the class. Every single thing that was done in class, you have the opportunity to reference and ask questions afterwards, because you'll be in a WhatsApp group with your trainer, your facilitators, your data coaches, your class coordinators, and so on and so forth. And let's see what they did on the very first class, okay? In the very first class, rather. So you have a case study for a company called Glow Gadgets, all right? And this is where you start to build your experience. So you are learning not just by watching videos or the conventional way you have always learned. You are learning by working on projects. So Glow Gadgets is a company that produces or manufactures eco-friendly electronics. And you would get this case study, you'd understand the problem Glow Gadgets is facing and help them solve that problem, all right, using Excel. So all the things you learn, you put them into practice to solve problems for real companies. Now, how were these case studies developed and designed? My extensive years of experience over a decade at Ifemena and all the other amazing facilitators that we have on board to walk you through all the, your journey into any of the programs. Our experiences over the years, we took them and we created case studies out of them. So you can also experience the same things we had done on the job itself. The only difference is we've changed the names of the companies. We have also codified the data in a way that data privacy would not be an issue. So you cannot tie any of the case studies to any specific organization, all right? So you do that, your Excel, your second class, you also have a different other case study where you'll be helping a company called Plume Technologies to solve a problem. So it is case study based. So when you're asked the question around, tell me about a time you have used Excel to solve a problem, you're not going to talk about, hypothetical, situations. You talk about specific projects, the problem the company faced, how you approach the problem, how you solve that problem for that particular organization. So this is another case study. You have your tailored analysis where you are helping to understand customer preferences and so on and so forth. So that products can be tailored to fit the customer's needs. Okay, so that's for the class. And of course, every single class is recorded. so that if anybody misses the class, you can always go back. You have assignments, you have presentations, because presentations are very important for any business analyst, any data analyst, because you'd make presentations, your data storytelling, what you have found, the insights you have gotten from the data, and so on and so forth. You have your very first mentorship session. All right. You have your watch me do it videos. And I want to talk about the drop-in session very quickly. Somebody asked a very good question, and this is where we, as professionals in the space, over the years, we've seen where your problems would likely lie as beginners in the space. All right, we know where the gaps are, and that's why we are the best in the business. So we have created a multi-layered system to help address all the issues that you have. For example, you miss a class on a Saturday or you miss a class on a Sunday. You have watched the recording and you still don't understand what to do, or you've tried to do something, but you're not getting the same results as the trainer got while the trainer was in class. All right. So you ask questions in the WhatsApp group. Solutions have been provided. You've tried the solutions, but you're still not getting it. You have something we call the drop-in session. It holds during the week. In the evenings, when you would have definitely gone to work, you'd have been back from work, or if you're a student, you're back from school, and then you would have somebody join you on a live session, a live call, to walk you through all the challenges that you have. So you're not taking a problem from a previous class into a new class. You have that real life support, something you never get by watching YouTube videos and all of those things that'll get you nowhere. Okay, so these are the systems we've put in place to ensure that you don't have challenges, you have issues properly resolved eventually. All right, so you complete your Power BI, you have a presentation where you work in groups, solve those problems, and you come to do a presentation. And by doing that, you are building your skills in communication, presentation. So if you are somebody who has stage fright, as time goes by, when you work in a group, and you have to present, you start to overcome the stage fright and do a lot better when it comes to communicating your points. You complete your SQL classes, and then you move into your very first business analysis, introduction to business analysis, project initiation planning, and you start to do all of that. Every single thing you need is in this classroom. All right, it doesn't matter where you are. You can install the app on your mobile phone and you can have access to all your class content on the go. And that's the beauty of you being in a Tenalytics classroom. And this is what your classroom would look like. And where you have access to your live classes, these are your login details. All you need to do, come to the login detail, click on the link, and it takes you into the live class. You attend the live class, and if you ever miss a class, you have the class recording. You have the class slides, the case studies, the data sets, and everything that you need. So this is just a sample. Every other program is like this, but I'm using the business analysis as a case for us to understand how the classes run when you join the Tenalytics program. So we'll take questions from you. I'm sure you have some burning questions and so on. Ivy is asking, what's the discounted fee for the data science program? All right, the discounted fee is £500 if you're paying in pounds, and it's $600 if you're paying in dollars. I'm just going to share that screen one more time for those, for the benefit of Ivy. So Ivy, you have access to that. All right. So there you go, Ivy. Okay, I'll check the chat for more questions and see that we can answer as many questions. Are we doing exams? You don't do exams. Exams as adults I'll tell you for a fact, they are useless. As an adult, writing exams is totally useless because on the job, you're not going to write any exams. Okay, you would have assignments, you would have case studies, and things that would enable you get your hands busy and do the job. Okay, so when you get a job as a data scientist, as a data engineer, as a cybersecurity analyst, you're not going to write exams on the job to help the company solve a problem. You're going to get your hands busy to help the company solve problems. And that's the focus in any of the programs you register for at Tenalytics. It is practical-based case study, project, self-based. Okay. We talked about certifications at the beginning, Uzo. You get a certification when you complete your program, you do your capstone project, you get a certification at the end of the program before you join the internship. So your capstone project completion gives you a certification before you join the internship eventually. The discounts, okay, I think the student gets access to the whole videos at once or in parts. So your classes are weekly, all right? So you have a class starting on Saturday, you join the live class, complete the live class, and then you have the class recording, all right? You also have the class for Sunday because for some programs, Sundays are self-paced. You don't join a live class. You have a self-paced class on Sunday. So you also have access to that to help you prepare ahead of the next live class the following Saturday. It's an immersive program. You don't want to get ahead of yourself because you can get yourself into, complex situations. So you work as the class goes on and you get to work on projects. You work in groups to do your case studies and your presentations. And that gives you an all-encompassing learning experience. Okay, yeah, ROI is talking about stage frights. At Tenalytics, that's one of the things we remove from you. Okay, we also have something we call interview simulations. I'll show you that very quickly. Now, what does the interview simulation, what does it do for you? Now, the interview simulation is where we would create a job for you to apply to, all right? It's a dummy job. You apply by working on your CV and applying to that job like you were applying to a real job. And during the mentorship session, we get to ask you questions and interview you just like as if you were interviewing for a real job. Okay, so I'm going to show you, we had one last week and I'll show you what it looks like, okay? So mentorship session, you can see that interview simulation. I'll play the recording for you. So this is a recording of somebody who applied to a dummy job that we created so that you can start to get a sense of what type of questions are likely going to be asked when you start to go, for interviews. And we use that to also give live feedback on what not to do and what to do when you get into an interview. Okay, so for somebody like you, Arewa, immediately you would start to, overcome that stage fright because we push you to the forefront to be a part of something like this. I'm just going to play this. Let me see if I can fast forward this a little bit. So this is Sam, and that's myself. I was asking Sam questions. We had about 3 interviews on that day. I'll play the audio so you get to listen to the audio as well. I want to bring in the next person. Okay, so let's listen to this amazing lady. I'm going to play the audio. So this is, like I said, a live interview simulation session. All right. And this is a lady answering questions. I was questioning her, Ifemena, and other professionals to get to see how she perform when questions are asked during interviews.
Yes. Presently, I work as a business analyst in a consulting firm, which has exposed me to various other industries like telecommunications, transport, aviation, and hospitality. I'm proficient in the use of Power BI, in the use of Jira for project management. I am knowledgeable and experienced in Agile methodology. I pay attention to detail. I pay close attention to detail. I listen actively. I manage time excellently because over the years, I've been able to handle more than one project at any given time. I communicate excellent. I have an excellent presentation skill when it has to do with presenting a solution to management, because this is something that I've done over the years and I do very well. I approach everything I do with an excellent mindset and give my...
And you listen to the way Omolola is answering questions on introduce yourself. That's what she's doing, introducing herself. And this is how we prep you to be as articulate as possible when introducing yourself. Okay, and this is because when you get into an interview, this sets the tone for the interviewers. All right. So this is Omolola doing the interview simulation. I want to go to where we asked her another question so you can get to hear what she. Okay, let's listen to the question Olawale was asking.
You've conducted some process mapping in the past. Can you tell us about it, the bottlenecks you identified, and how you were able to solve them to get results?
Okay, the project that comes to mind for that is the organization I work with. I mentioned that it is a consulting firm. So we were working for a particular organization that was that sells bikes. So they said they've been having customer complaints as regards the process, the entire process of ordering for what they sell. They are into the business of selling bikes. So as a business analyst, I came into the picture and I was able to get requirements from them, what is your current process flow? So, during the interview with the users, the people that work.
Okay, so I'm just going to stop here because of time, but this is a live interview simulation. And at the end of this session, we had over 300 people on the call, over 300 people listening and learning from how Omolola was answering questions, the way we were asking her questions, and the feedback we gave at the end of the session. So this is how you learn. All right. So for somebody who has stage fright, for somebody who doesn't know how to comport and conduct themselves during interviews, sessions like this are absolutely important for you. All right. And this is general, okay, because everybody was on the call. We have the one-on-one sessions when you actually have a real interview and we work with you to prepare you for that particular interview. Okay, so I'm going to check the chat for more questions, and I think we'll take just 2 more questions and call it a day. Now, somebody's saying, for someone who has no idea on all of this, as a professional, which of the programs would you suggest? Again, sight unseen, all the programs are beginner friendly. That's number 1. Number 2, Efemena did a very good job explaining all the career path and what each career path entail. All right. So all you need to do is find that one that you think is exciting for you. And for some of you who have peculiar, career path, and you feel that I want to have more conversations with Adeza, with Efemena, so I can clearly choose a specific career path, we can help you, walk you through the selection process. Okay. So this is what we think. All right. You do the selection yourself eventually based on your preference, your preferred career path, but we can listen to you and guide you in that selection process. But what you have to do is take advantage of the discounts. That's number 1. Make your payments. And when you are filling the form, you'd see the option that says select the program you have registered for. When you get there, rather than selecting a specific program, just click on what I need to speak with a professional. When you select that option, myself, Efemena, and other industry experts would have a one-on-one with you on Tuesday, and then we will guide you on how to select the most appropriate program that fits into your previous experience, if you've not been able to select any of the programs we've shown to you today. All right. So to be in that session, just ensure that you've taken advantage of the discount, because what happens typically is people wait to have that one-on-one only to find out that the discounts are gone and there is no discounted slot available anymore. So you don't want to find yourself in that situation where we have talked to you, we've shown you, okay, we think data science is the best for you. You decide to go for data science, but then you have to pay the full amount because the discounts would have been exhausted by then. All right. So that would be my advice to you. Can we talk about interview opportunities, recruitment organizations? That's for people that have registered, Deborah. Okay. The organizations, how to apply to jobs, the techniques, the different strategies. We've had some free sessions on that. Okay. Which they're all available on our YouTube. However, when we go to specifics, How do you land sponsored jobs in the UK? How do you get a job in Canada, even though you have no experience? How do you easily transition as a business analyst, as a data analyst, as a Scrum Master? All these sessions we have with you when we have the Navigating the Job Markets session. All right. Okay. No, Arawa, you're not going to hide behind the keypads, okay? All right, there is no certification, DOMS. Again, like I started at the beginning, for those of you that joined us at the beginning, competence over credentials. The moment you keep on focusing on certifications, you remain looking for, you look for that certification, you get it, but you still won't be able to get the job because the skills that will get you the job, you haven't learned them. A lot of the exam certifications that exist, they are highly theoretical, and that's the way we've always learned. All right, you go to the universities, you do a lot of theories, you read a lot of books, you write exams, you come out of the university, and you are doing something totally different from the 4 years and the millions you've spent studying in the university. Okay, so that's the traditional and the old way of learning. The new way of learning is learning in a skill-based environment. You learn the skills, you get the job, and that is what every recruiter wants from you, not any certification whatsoever. I've been in tech for over a decade. I don't have one single certification. Zero, totally. I got my first job in the UK 1 month after moving to the UK, 1 month. All right. So no recruiter would ask you for a certificate. Okay, none. Okay. I'll see if we have more questions. Internship, can we do more than a month? Internship is for a month, apart from data engineering and the business analysis that you have internship for 2 months. All right. The internship again is project-based. Okay, Jay is asking, is project-based. For the business analysis, for example, you get to work in a real-life project. A web developer is going to be in that project, Scrum Masters, the product owner, the data analyst would also be in that project, all right? And what are you doing? You build a web application, and as a business analyst, you'd be the one to gather the requirements and do all the things that will get you, get that project completed at the end of the day. So your software development lifecycle that you learned in class, you'll be applying it in real life. Your project management skills using the agile methodology, you'd what? Apply it in real life. Okay, your requirements engineering, requirements fundamentals, elicitation, you'd apply it in real life on that particular project. So that gives you real life experience eventually. How can I register for the one-on-one? So you receive an email, you'd also receive the recording and the link, and from there you get access. You'd have all the details, the slides, the recordings, and everything would be in that email. Okay, so I think we've pretty much answered most of the questions that you have. If there is any question we haven't been able to answer, ensure you join us on the one-on-one session on Tuesday. We have 2 timings to ensure that we accommodate everybody. All right, and if you've made payments, you've registered, and you're not available on Tuesday, we'll make time out for you at your convenience to speak with you and help you walk you through the specific program you'd like to join. You don't need any experience to be a part of any of the programs, all right? So go ahead, take advantage of the discounts. The cohort for March starts on the 2nd of March, all right? Lock in your discounts, and before the program starts, you can then make the balance of the first installment, okay? And 1 month after you started your classes, you get to make the balance payments eventually. Now, if you have a brother, you have a sister, you have a family member, a colleague in the office that you think can benefit from this, share the message with them, all right? So they can also benefit from this. Follow us on our Instagram, follow us on LinkedIn, follow us across all our social media platforms to see the amazing work we are doing. Go on YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have amazing content for you. And you also get to see professionals that have been able to transition just like you. They joined a masterclass like this for free. They took a chance to start their journey, and today they've been able to transition. They've gotten the job of their dreams, and they're doing amazing stuff within the tech ecosystem. All right. All right. Okay. So, Ife, I don't know if you want to wrap up the session, and we call it a day.
All right. Fantastic work, Adeza. I'm sure you guys have had a wonderful time. If you've had a great time today, I want you guys to put a 1 on the charts. If you've had a wonderful time, you've learned something new, you've had a different experience about how you can transition to the tech space, please put a 1 in the chat. Let me see the energy coming up, guys. Abaya me, well, fantastic. So use the chat, guys. Use the chat. Drop a 1 in the chat. Let's see if you've learned something new or you've gotten a very wonderful experience today. Fantabulous. That's great. Okay. All right. So, guys, another thing that I would like to chip in also that Adeza has spoken about is the clarity session. So we're going to be having a clarity session. So if you have any other burning question you would like to ask myself, Adeza, and all the experts that we have on the team, you would have the opportunity to have a one-on-one chat. Okay. Oh, I'm coming from this sector. How can I get into this sector? Oh, I'm coming from this data and analytics. I want to go into cybersecurity. More tailored questions, all right, to you'll get your tailored answers in reverse. Okay, so if you are looking to get started, you want that clarity session, you would get access. If you're on the group chat, you would see the link on the group chat that will allow you to register for that clarity session. So if you want to have that one-on-one conversation, we would be happy to have that conversation with you. One last thing I would just close on is this year, 2024, like we said right from the onset, is the key thing for us is to get more Africans, more people into the tech space. All right. So all the things that we've talked about today, you see how everything is tailored to that particular objective: getting more Africans, getting more people into the tech space. So if you are currently in the UK, you're in Canada, you're in the US, you're anywhere in the world, really, all right, and you're looking to transition, or you have friends, you have family now looking to transition, recommend them to this platform, and you would see how impeccable your career trajectory is going to look like. All right. So please get started, register, secure your discount. Even if you have your burning questions you want to answer in the clarity session, you could always secure a discount. We've seen situations whereby people want to register, but they want to do the clarity session before they register, and they end up paying the full amount without, getting the discount. So please, if you're looking to get this started, secure your space now. All right, using the link that has been sent severally to the chat. Okay, so looking forward to seeing you guys in the main class. Okay, and we'll still be having a couple of sessions just to bring you on board to all the things that you need to know about getting started and all that. So thank you very much, guys. I had a wonderful time interacting and interacting with you guys. Honestly speaking, you guys are absolutely awesome. Stay to the very end of the session. All right. So wonderful. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day ahead, and looking forward to seeing you guys. All right. Cheers, everyone, and bye for now.